Yo, Goodfellas, we back once again. Got a drunk cameraman.
Already tripping.
Good Lord.
Already tripping.
5, A Will, what's the deal?
We here, man.
Man,
Feeling good, feeling great.
feeling great, feeling good. How are you? We're going to start the show off today. First thing we're going to do, man, if you have not heard already, Sunday afternoon? Rapper, entrepreneur Nipsey Hussle was gunned down in front of his Marathon clothing line store. They actually just arrested the suspect today. I'm not gonna say his name, he don't deserve that attention. We just gonna have a quick moment of silence before we continue on with the show. Our prayers go out to the family, Lauren London. So we just gonna take a moment of silence. Alright, y'all got anything else y'all wanna add to that?
Man, great guy. Gone too soon, man. And I was having this conversation with my wife earlier today. And, you know, we always talk about, like, if you make it big, do you leave the hood or do you stay?
Right.
And I used to always say, you know, you got to give back to where you're from. But I think this is one of them things where it kind of show you why people get out, they leave, and they don't come back. Because that was somebody he knew.
Yeah.
You could tell he knew that dude.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that it's sad, man. I seen that video, the surveillance video.
Mm-hmm.
God,
Over a bunch of nothing.
man. I'm gonna let somebody else talk. That shit crazy.
5.
It's something we just gotta address, man. We gotta address it the correct way, and we can't address it negatively either. I spent some time over the last few days watching a lot of Nipsey Hussle interviews, just looking at some of the things that he would say. I never heard him say anything negative. Like, everything was positive. Everything, you know, whether it was health, whether it was his neighborhood, whether it was actually himself, you know. I never heard him say anything negative. So, and for us to address these type of issues, these deep-rooted issues in the black community, I think we have to take a positive approach. And I think that's how you get a lot of people's attention. And it's gonna take a lot of attention to fix some of these issues, because there's no way that a 33-year-old black man who was helping his community, helping others, friends, people he didn't even know, reach their own potential, you know? And it's something we're gonna have to address, man. And it's gonna take a community, man. They say that a child raised in this community, it becomes a strong man, you know. So we're gonna have to get back to those type of roots, man, and that type of teaching. So, you know, it's something that everybody had to come together though.
Man, it was unfortunate, man. Dude was doing nothing but positive things. He was just about to meet with the LAPD and talk about. He was supposed to meet with him the next day.
Yeah, but I'm saying they met before.
Oh yeah, and talk about some gun violence issues. Man, like, it just make you think, like you said it will. Like, if you leave the hood, like, or your community, like, it make you think, like, you can give back without coming back. You know what I mean? Because, like, that's crazy how he was, like, in front of his own store. You know what I mean? Like, and when you watch those videos of him, whether it's his music videos or whether him doing interviews, he's always talking about, he was always in front of that same spot where he got shot at. You know what I mean? And so, like Charlamagne said, the ego. And him and that guy got into that altercation. Basically, dude was a known snitch. He told him to leave, not move around, and dude couldn't handle it. And then came back, so.
He ain't gotta kill him, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Throw some hands.
So, unfortunate, man. Like, if you haven't already, man, stream that man's music. He owned his master, so all of that is going to his family.
Yeah.
So he was all about ownership. We gonna keep the show going forward. We are going to dive right into a hot topic that A. Will brought up to us before we went right on air. He said it was Chris Broussard.
Chris Broussard.
What did he say?
He got the cameraman fired too. Danny got fired earlier today, y'all. But anyway, Chris Broussard earlier said that he used to have Isaiah Thomas as the best under the rim small guards who ever played a game of basketball. He said, but now it is Steph Curry.
Not just small guard, but just under the rim.
Under the rim. So, no, it was a small guard.
Just small
Like,
guard?
that plays under the rim.
Okay.
You know, not real explosive. You
Yeah.
know.
Not known for dunking.
Okay.
What y'all got? What y'all think?
I want to ask Danny first.
No, we're not even asking. Okay, let's get in.
All right, 5.
Be smart about it.
Nah,
I said be smart about it.
I got this. I can't say right off the top of my head that I don't agree with him. Like, as great as I think Isaiah Thomas is, like, Isaiah Thomas, to me, is the greatest basketball player to ever come from the city of Chicago. Like, I don't care, like, what you want to say. I don't care what errors you want to bring up. I don't care if you want to include the suburbs. He is the greatest basketball player to come from the Chicagoland area. So it's hard for me to just say that anybody can be better than him. I do believe that Steph Curry, when it's all said and done, will have a better career than him, though. He'll play a little bit longer. He'll own a few records. He'll have more rings. He already does that right now. I just don't know if I can say like he's a better actual player than Isaiah Thomas. I mean, Isaiah was a better passer, better defender. We talked a little bit about that before we started. But Curry's impact, I think that's what separates Curry from a lot of players, especially guards. His impact on the game is so substantial that you can overlook some of his faults in his game, like on the defensive end. Curry is an underrated passer to me. I won't sit here and say that Curry's not a good passer. He's an underrated passer to me. They're both rebounds. I mean, when you're a little guard, I mean, it really don't matter. I mean, rebounds is rebounds. But his impact on the game, I mean, I literally saw Steph Curry dominate the NBA. I saw him dominate every good player in the NBA for an entire season. I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard, who was one of the best defensive players in the league. I'm talking about LeBron James. Everybody. Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. I can keep firing them off if you want me to. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, like dominate these players with Klay Thompson being his second best player. Like, I don't think people realize, like, I'm not in those, we all know Klay isn't a slouch, right? But Klay is also not a top 15 player in the league. Maybe scratching 20, 25. I mean, when you talk about, like, LeBron had Kyrie, I mean, Kawhi had Pop, so that's a whole different story. He's the best coach, maybe ever. And, Westbrook and Durant were on the team together. Harden really didn't have anybody. Dwight was the second best player on that team. That's a totally different story. But yeah, I mean, Chris Paul. I didn't even talk about Chris Paul and Blake. Like, I don't know, man. That season alone was like, even though they didn't win the championship, like 73 games. Like, I can only imagine what it was like watching every Bulls game. Like, I mean, I probably watched most of them, but I was young. I couldn't really appreciate it. I was a grown man, and I watched them win 73 games, and it was very impressive. So I'm going to stay with Isaiah for now, just because I'm biased and I'm from Chicago. But my mind could change when Steph Curry's career is over, because he will have some records. That's just how I feel about it. What y'all get, man?
Steph is definitely a game changer with today's day and age, right? 3-point line, he's revolutionized that, right? But man, like, Isaiah Thomas won in probably one of the toughest eras you go in. Like,
Yes.
and they won back to back. Like, that holds so much weight.
Was it that tough, though?
I mean, he beat the Celtics
I mean,
and the Lakers.
But the Celtics weren't ever good again after that.
Whose fault is that?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, was it that great? I mean,
Yeah, it
the
was
team
great.
was getting old. Like, the team was getting old. Larry had back problems. Like, that team was dismantling, just like how they were dismantling when the Bulls started winning. They were never good again either. Now, the Lakers is a different
You
story.
know why they weren't good again? Because the Bulls beat them. You know why the Celtics wasn't good again? Because the Pistons beat them. And then I've seen Isaiah Thomas, like we've seen the highlights with him on one leg
Yeah.
in the NBA Finals
Yeah.
go absolutely nuts. And
Oh, yeah.
that year, Steph won unanimous MVP when they won. That was the year they won 73, right?
Yep.
He got outplayed in the finals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got outplayed by Kyrie.
I agree.
So, I mean, for Zeke to, like, rise to the occasion like that,
The
man.
7-game sample size, and they also lost that series too. Zeke couldn't play the next game.
Yeah, his ankle
His
messed up.
was done.
So,
But and he's just so much of a better passer. And I think, like my question would be like, what if we switched them? Like, what if Steph played like then, and Zeke played now? Like, would it still, you know what I mean? Like the effects, like
I think people would think because the era was a lot stronger and people could touch people, it would make a little bit of a difference. But can you imagine Bill Laimbeer on the perimeter trying to guard Steph Curry coming up
he,
pick and
he
roll?
would absolutely clothesline Steph coming out there.
I mean, that's okay. He'd be out the game though. I mean, he wouldn't be
I
able
mean, but
to.
it was more. That was more accepted back then. Like you came off. I think to Ray's point. So I get what you're saying, Five, but I'm gonna say, like, I'll give you the flip, right? For Isaiah to be tough, because Isaiah wasn't, he was a scorer. I wouldn't say he was a jump shooter, right? So he could still score the basketball. It would be easy for him to score the basketball, but would he have the same effect that Curry has in today's game? No, he wouldn't. Like, and I don't think Curry would have the same effect that he has now in those times because, like you said, you can put your hands on them. When people were coming off picks, you made sure they felt you. Defenders made sure that the offensive players felt twice about certain things that they did, moves that they made. So I think both of them could still score, but would it be as impactful as it was in those times? I don't think so. And I think, one thing neither one of y'all mentioned was Isaiah, he played in the era where there wasn't like the small players. It wasn't a lot of small players. And for him to be able to dominate the way he was, to be one of the smaller, if not the smallest player in the league, I mean, that has to say something.
I think the league was. I think it was a bigger front court league. I don't know about backcourt. I mean, we tend to just remember the teams that were in the finals year in and year out. Denny Johnson was small. Danny Ainge was pretty small. I mean, he was 6'2", 6'1", playing the two.
But neither one of them dominated like Isaiah.
Oh no, they couldn't. That's why nobody could check out there. You talk about Vinny Johnson. They ended up actually getting Vinny. Because Vinny couldn't beat him. So you can't beat them, join them, right?
You think Isaiah they listed him at 6'1".
Isaiah definitely not 6'1".
Right.
I've seen Isaiah enter.
5'11".
And he's 5'11".
So, to be 5'11" and dominate the way he did.
Stuff. Yeah. He was good, man. He was great. He I used to say, forget good.
You gotta think what he was.
He was great.
5-time All-NBA, back-to-back champ.
And that's too low. Like
He was an
there's
assist champ.
no reason why he should be 5-time.
only thing stopped him, like to your point, Steph is gonna have a longer career.
Yeah.
Because
That
Isaiah,
Achilles
that
killed.
Achilles, it messed him up.
And Isaiah wasn't loved by the media as well. So
Yeah, he had a few comments.
5-time All NBA.
yeah, 5 times.
Steph got to be what 7-time All NBA right now.
You know what? Hey,
That's just tough.
hey, wait. To your point, man. Before the end of the show, I might say Steph just because Isaiah led that walkout against the Bulls.
Oh, here you go.
I ain't never gonna
Oh,
forget
here
that.
you go.
Right?
I'd have walked out too.
Sucker.
Y'all some sore losers, man.
Cool.
You be shaking people's hand after you lose?
Yes.
Oh man, you better than me.
I mean, I done shook his hand, but I
You
wouldn't.
shook
He
somebody,
nah,
you shook somebody's hand after you lost?
yeah, we always had to line up.
Just because you lined up don't mean you got to shake that
Yeah,
hand.
but he walked off super early though. There's still time on the clock.
Steph is 5-time All NBA right now.
And Danny,
About to be 6.
And it will be 6 at this year.
you shook people's hand after a loss?
I don't remember. I probably did.
I had to. You know what I did see though?
You bad sportsmanship.
Oh, you think so?
They
A lot of players.
They just had a commercial about you on Instagram.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's
Sportsmanship.
cool. All right, listen, I got in the line. I just wasn't putting my hand out.
I've actually seen a few. I was actually recently watching. Was it?
I think.
90?
Is it okay if I didn't win or lose?
Consistency.
I mean,
Yes, it's a problem.
sorry, I don't know.
Yes, it's a problem.
Yeah, well, that's cool. If I ain't know you, I ain't shaking your hand.
Yeah, because I think I was just watching Orlando Magic and the Bulls '96 Eastern Conference Finals when the Bulls swept them. Shaq definitely didn't wait around.
Oh, no,
He walked
that's
clean
what I'm
off.
saying.
Didn't shake nobody's
Sore
hand.
losers.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't be look when people win a championship. A lot of teams don't stay out and shake hands. They go to the locker room till they sore losers. Like I'm not finna let this confetti fall on me.
Sore losers.
Yeah, well, okay, that's cool.
You give it to y'all, you leave it out on the floor.
I guess everybody sore losers.
Well, the thing is, Isaiah didn't do that against. He didn't do that against Bird. No.
Hey man, they didn't like you. But you also got to remember the back. It was a little backstory behind it. Like Pippen led the charge of Isaiah not being on the dream team.
This was before that.
That was before.
But I'm just saying.
That was
That
after
was why.
that.
That was
And,
why.
and wait,
That was why they didn't
didn't
want
they
him
say
on the dream
he couldn't be on one? What didn't he not make one of them All-Star teams?
No, he actually told them to
Or-
ice
or
Jordan
there,
out.
there you go. There you go. So it was backstory behind it. They were beefing the Bulls and the Pistons or Isaiah.
Who fault is that though?
I think it was a little more envy than it was about beefing.
That's what I'm saying.
They knew the Bulls were next. I mean, I think we all did knew.
Isaiah wanted to ice Mike. Then they lost to him. Then he didn't make the dream team.
But he iced them. That was like Mike first or second year in the league. That was like 5 years before they,
Hey man,
6
listen,
years before they got kicked
hey,
out.
People hold grudges.
Hey man, that was whack.
I mean, they were in the same division, played 4 times a year. I mean,
It was
it was a rivalry.
it was bad blood.
Oh, yeah.
It was a rivalry. And that's what rivalries should be like. But you still should have good sportsmanship though.
Come on, Steph Curry.
I've been in some rival games before, some intense ones, but I still shake people's hands though.
I'm proud of it.
You should be. I ain't proud of you though, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Steph.
It is what it is.
You trying to lean towards stuff?
Steph.
This is where your Bulls bias come in.
Steph.
Oh my God, you're sick, man. Sick of you already.
Steph. Going right with Steph. Hey, Boof, who you got?
We don't care.
Steph Curry. Give him 7 all day.
All right, that's enough, Boof.
Cut Boof off.
Yeah, man, because you let us keep going on the tangent. We're going to be here till 11 Pacific time, you hear me?
I already said you don't sleep.
NCAA, and I ain't talking to 2 Chainz song. March Madness. I just want to clap.
You talking about North Carolina
Hold
law?
on though, before we go into that,
Okay.
Westbrook had a 20-20-20 game today.
What?
He had 14 assists at the
Wait,
end of the
wait,
first quarter.
wait. He had 20 rebounds?
20 rebounds, 20 assists, 20 points.
7 rebounds and 14 assists
I don't
in the
even
first
want
quarter.
to. Hey, listen, I don't even want to see the highlights of the rebounds because I feel like everybody was just letting him get the rebounds.
135th triple double. He's like 6 behind Magic
This is
for second all time.
So, let me ask this: he's gonna average a triple double for the third year.
Third
bro.
year.
So Jared 5 asks this all the time. Does Russell Westbrook taint the I don't even know what to say, but the triple double?
I think it's good and bad.
You think it's good?
I think because just watching him in the first, when I was watching the first quarter, I told you he had 7 rebounds.
Yeah.
There was nobody around
was
him when he was grabbing these rebounds. I mean, granted, I get that is a good thing for him to get the rebound because you don't have to wait for an outlet pass. The point guard can just bring it up. But
this is ridiculous.
he had 14 assists in the first quarter.
So he's not.
Like
He's
he
not-
didn't
not
have no
searching for
points.
shots.
He had no points in the first quarter.
They were barely winning too.
Yeah,
And they were barely winning. They only
5
won
points
like
at the
4.
half.
They
I
only
think he
won
had.
like 4.
Yeah, game was close. With that being the
They
Lakers,
played the Lakers today.
everybody
It was
dropped.
on TV.
Everybody.
Everybody was out. Yeah, everybody was out.
With that being said, though, they're gonna be done in the first round.
They only won this game by 16. This game was close going to the 4th.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had 20 points, 21 assists, 20 rebounds. He was 8 of 23 from the field. Played 37 minutes. Let me see how many turnovers he had. That's what it tells the story. Jesus.
He had 1 turnover at half.
He said, "Jesus."
He had 2 turnovers.
Yeah, he had 1 turnover at half.
I thought you was gonna say like, yeah, 15.
Nah, it was good. I thought he was gonna have a lot.
Yeah.
He was
He
hooping.
only had 2. Okay.
He was hooping. They will be done in the first round.
Yeah, it won't even be close. They might not win a game.
If they play Denver though, they got a better shot because Denver's still questionable. Like, you know, you don't know who's gonna be that guy. Like, we say Jokic, but like, we don't know yet.
They play Golden State tonight though, right?
Yeah, in Golden State.
That game is so we'll find out a little
And the
bit
Spurs
about
are
that tonight.
actually, they play Atlanta tonight. Are they winning? Because you know, the Spurs are in 7th right
Hawks
now.
are winning right now. 196.
The Spurs always do that at home against bad teams.
Trey Young, really good year. I'm lying. No, I'm lying.
But yeah, he was hooping today, but man, 20,
20, 20, and 20?
my player,
When the last time
My
that's
career
been?
number.
Shaq? Gotta be Shaq.
I don't know, man.
20, 20, and
20, 20, and 20?
I don't. Whew.
I don't think that might have ever been done.
I-
Will?
Shaq ain't
Will,
never
gotta be.
had 20 assists.
Somebody's done that.
It's gotta be Will.
20, 20, 20.
Scott Skiles.
Come on, man.
What?
I don't
We
know.
said
Scott
20,
Skiles-
20,
I don't know.
and
Scott
20.
Skiles had 20 points that actual game. He had 30 assists.
I actually thought Westbrook was gonna come close to that after
Then
that first quarter.
20, 20, and 20.
Pop.
Not 20 and 20.
You know it's gonna be. What's his name?
Kareem.
Nah, it's gotta be Will.
You know it's gonna be Will.
Points, man.
Rondo got close in 2012. He had 18, 17, and 20.
Wow.
It's actually pretty impressive. Will had a game where he had 22, 25, and 21.
Will got all the
It's the only 20-20-20 game in NBA history. So
Good
he
Will.
just had the second
Wow.
20-20-20 game in NBA history.
That's crazy.
Woo!
That's impressive.
I don't care. I don't
I mean,
care
still,
if they
yeah.
was giving the rebounds.
I mean, no, he was
How many
hooping.
steals he had?
He was
Like I
hooping.
literally don't care if they gave him the rebounds.
He was
You
hooping.
grab 20 rebounds, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
that's a lot of rebounds.
That's a lot.
He was hooping.
There's big man who can't get 20 rebounds in a game, and they stand by the damn rim all damn game.
Oh, okay.
Nah, he was hooping today.
Let me see how many steals he had. Well, he had to because the game was closed. They couldn't blow the game open.
The fact that they struggling with the Lakers though, they've been struggling this
the
whole
Lakers,
entire
no Kuzma, no
March.
Braun,
No Ingram,
no
no
Ingram.
Ball.
Oh, come on, man. They
Damn, they ain't got no coach. Damn.
He had 3 steals.
Oh.
So
The fantasy now, anybody pick him?
I didn't play fantasy tonight. Good thing I didn't. I would have picked
You
him.
would have picked.
Well, I probably would have.
I didn't pick him because
Every point guard has value versus the Lakers.
It's true. But I thought they would actually blow them out.
Yeah, I mean the game was on TNT though, so
I
Yeah, I
didn't
was
have-
watching that game.
I watched
I was
the first half.
I'm proud of y'all.
And it wasn't nothing else on. It was either that or SmackDown. I don't watch wrestling no more.
I'm proud of y'all.
On Sunday, I watched the Duke game. See that transition?
Oh. Did you watch the North Carolina game?
Sure did. Sure did. Hey, we put them cookies. You need smoke cookies, man?
Go Spartans!
You need smoke cookies?
Go Spartans!
Would you rather lose by 1 point or get blown out?
I'd rather win national championship.
It was an L, baby. It was an L, baby. Just like a win, it was an L, baby.
Okay.
Shoot it with me. Go ahead, RJ Barrett.
Okay. Man, that dude, listen.
Go ahead into that story. What's the headline on that? Ray? What's the headline on that?
What?
What's the headline on that game?
Duke?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Duke loses to.
Oh, Duke loses to Michigan State. And guess who had them losing to Michigan State in the Elite Eight? To my own horn. Shout out to everybody in the Goodfellas bracket challenge. But you're gonna be looking at second place. Just wanted to throw that out there. You're gonna be looking at second place. Hey, Will, how you feel?
I'm so glad that RJ Barrett will not walk back through the door.
Crazy is we always talk about him. Cam Reddish is like
It's not. The Cam Reddish is not at fault at all.
Barrett actually played a good game.
RJ Barrett had the most unimpactful 21 points I have ever seen in the game of basketball. Unimpactful.
Truth be told,
Unimpactful.
y'all should have been lost.
The man couldn't make a post entry pass, none at all. That's just basic elementary basketball.
What was Reddish stats though?
It
Huh?
doesn't.
2 for 8.
Cam Reddish doesn't touch the ball enough. He doesn't. First off, I'm just gonna get down to it. It is no way that Zion Williamson does not touch the ball on the last play. No way at all. No way.
That's Coach K.
No, we can blame Coach K. We could sometimes you.
I thought didn't Zion touch it and gave it up?
He did give it
He
up.
gave it up.
And he probably rolled to the basket and did not get it back.
No, he flared to the wing.
He flared back out to the wing.
It was just they were discombobulated. They were scrambling.
So I'll tell you what they did. So they had been running the same play for about 4 times in a row. They ran it 4 straight times. They ran it literally 4 straight times. Zion would set the screen for Jones. Jones would come from the wing to the top of the key. They'd throw it back to Zion, and then he'd just go one-on-one. They had Barrett in the short corner, and then when Zion attacked, Barrett would flare back out to the wing. So what happened was Zion tried to attack. They cut off his left hand.
They were sitting on it.
He had nobody, but he didn't trust anybody. You could tell he didn't trust anybody but RJ. He kicked it right back to RJ. He flared back out to the wing, so now it's time for him to go one-on-one.
He got to the line.
Man,
The last play, it went straight to RJ.
I mean, they both went. They both went left. They went left the last 7 possessions.
Well,
of the game.
they always only go left. But when Zion goes left, he's going left with a purpose, and Zion is actually unstoppable going left. RJ Barrett goes left, and he does the exact same move all the time. And it sometimes he gets a layup, and other times he just doesn't. He has 3 results. He gets fouled, he gets a layup, or he just turns the ball over. RJ does not go right. He has man, y'all don't even want to get me started on that.
My thing is the play calling in the game. They live. I'm telling you, if you want to go back and watch the game, go back and watch it. They ran the same play 6 or 7 times down. It was working. But you don't. But sooner or later, like they're gonna figure it out. Like Izzo was calling timeouts, literally jumping up and down at players. Like how can you continuously let them go left? And that's what happened. They tried to run the play again. They kept getting both of them get cut off. Actually,
Yeah.
both of them they had to run it 2 times in a row. They had to run it twice in 1 possession. Like they cut off Barrett, they cut off Zion. Zion threw it back to him. Now the shot clock just went down. What really should happen was the play before that, when Zion had it on the other wing, and then the center came up and tried to set a ball screen, and then they just double teamed him. Like, dude, get out the way. Like, stop bringing your guy over here.
And then, but not like I'm even go a couple plays before that. Like one time they ran a play and Javin Delorier set a pick for RJ and dove to the basket wide open. And RJ waited till the last second to throw it to him. And it's like out of bounds. And my bad. Like that's
Just out of
just
bounds, I remember that.
that's just come on, man. That's basketball 1-on-1. Like sometimes you have to as Pop told Kawhi Leonard, sometimes I call a play for you, but the play is not designed for you to score the basketball. It's for you to make a play for somebody else.
So it's a thing where, let's talk a little bit just about RJ, just period. Just because he's going to the next level. We all know that. He's going to declare, if he hasn't already declared,
he's
declaring. He's declaring. So the thing with him is, like, he's going to have to find a position. Like,
He's going to have to find the right hand.
I mean, everybody says about left-handers, but you can't stop him going left. Like, I'm a fellow left-hander, so I know all about it. Like, I used to hear coaches scream at players. He goes left, he's going left, and I still could get to my left hand. So, I mean, it's a lot harder.
Oh, yeah,
It's a lot harder said than done. But my thing is, like, he has to find a position. I don't know if he's a 2 guard. I don't know if he's a 1. I don't know if he has the passing ability to be a 1. I don't know if he has the shooting ability to be a 2. So it's just a thing where he's gonna have to find himself in the league.
According to
Or
his
he's gonna-
Godfather, he got that vision to be a 1.
Or he's gonna find himself out the league real quick. To be honest with you, like 2 guards that can't pass anymore, unless you can stretch the floor like a Klay Thompson, don't last in the league anymore.
No.
They don't last in the league anymore. Like they just don't. Like they just don't. So you have to be able to do both.
And it's not, and to piggyback off of what Five is saying, it's not like he can, again, I don't think he can take over a game.
Maybe not NBA game. College game, yeah. He's just got the size.
I mean, but tell me a college game against a quality opponent where he took over. Like, in that Duke game, right, in the Duke-Michigan State game, when Duke went on a run and they were up 9 or 10, that was all Zion, right? That was led by Zion. It was Zion's imprint was all over that.
When they hold on, when they went up 9-10.
in the first half.
I
in the
don't know if
first
it was-
half.
I don't know if it was all Zion. They hit a couple threes too. Like
But
Barry hit
that-
a
Oh,
three.
Barry hit- yeah.
Barry
But
hit a
that's-
three. Jones hit a three. Like they hit some jump shots. They got the game going back up and down. The game was up and down game.
Zion had an impact on the defensive end and the offensive end during that run. That's what I'm saying. Zion was impacting the game at that moment. When Michigan State came back,
He was on the bench.
like Ray said, he was on the bench. But who was the player for Michigan State that took over?
It was the first time they came back.
Right.
Yeah.
Who was the player on Michigan State that took over? Their point guard. And he scored majority of their points, but he was making all the right plays. He was like you always say, Five, that you either got to be a run stopper or a run starter. RJ was never a run starter or a run stopper in that game. And there were a lot of games in the tournament where he was not a run starter or a run stopper. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he might have took over games in college when Zion was out or when they were playing lesser opponents. But again, in the big games, when it mattered the most, like, he had 21 points, but there was no impact on the game. Zero.
I thought the first half he did have some impact. He had 12 at half. I mean, Zion had like 8, maybe 9. Like I felt like he had some imprint on the first half. Now the second half, I can't say so much. It was a lot of Zion, like Zion early on, and especially in the half.
Yeah.
And then the second half, I felt like they just kept running the same play over and over again, and they kept relying on one-on-one basketball. They weren't moving the ball, and Michigan State they hit some timely shots. Like, and even though Winston was great, like he was outstanding. Like, as outstanding as he was, like the others actually won the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like 25 hit the shot, hit the three to go ahead, and it was crazy because Winston said the play wasn't even for him.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was the decoy. I thought Winston was the screener decoy, and he was just popping out for the three, and that's what they were going for. But
Michigan State big man actually missed a lot.
they should have won
A lot
by
of
15.
I mean,
That's
Jesus.
a lot of layups.
They should have won by 15.
That's the Zion effect, man.
I mean, they was missing. Oh, the Zion effect. Oh, you want to know when that took place? Against Virginia Tech.
Oh,
When
yeah.
my man's had to watch. Y'all escaped 2. Y'all was bound to lose on the third one, man. Y'all had these close games. I'm like, man, you can't keep like.
Man, you gotta survive in the bench.
You do, but man, my God.
I don't know. We had some games like that last year.
You gotta survive in the
2
bench.
years ago. 2 years ago, actually. Yeah, we had some close ones.
Hey, you gotta survive in the bench.
We had some
bro.
sweaters, man.
Hey,
We was sweating some games out.
Kobe White,
he gone.
NBA is next for you.
He
gone. Kobe gone.
He definitely gone. If Little gone, he definitely gone.
Yeah, I don't know why Little
Yeah.
declared. That was stupid.
I mean, he's projected to be a lottery pick.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's stupid.
But he still can come back though because of the new rules.
No, he had an agent, didn't
And you still can come back
he?
though.
Yeah.
You still technically can come back. Yeah, because of the new rules. It's some new rule that came in.
Hey, Little, if you watching this, come on back. Come on back.
Come on back and play with Cole Anthony.
Yeah, he's gotten to a certain date. He's gotten to a certain date where he can undeclare.
Little, go on back to college, bro.
To me though, he's like a Montrezl Harrell type player. So yeah, he's high energy. So I think he can last.
I don't even know if he was he ever on the court a lot?
Cool.
Little.
Oh, little.
Yeah, he was getting a shot, sit back, return the sender.
Well, he had the flu last game.
Man.
Like, I wish you would. I told you he had the flu.
I told you his ankles had the flu. The man looked like he couldn't jump, bro.
Yes, he had the flu. Have you ever had the flu before?
Yes.
Have you ever tried to play basketball with the flu? No.
Yes, I have.
I mean, it's tough. Like,
On my Jordan Jammer.
first of all, he was doubtful to be in the game. He wasn't even supposed to play.
I mean, I give him credit for being out there for his team.
Thank you, man.
But Kobe White, man, like,
Yeah, I told y'all about him, man. He played like a freshman. I know he is a freshman, but we talked about they're not freshmen anymore last week when we talked about Henry.
Yeah.
He was still a freshman.
Playing like a senior in high school. Kobe White.
He's still a freshman. He
Yeah,
over dribbles, he
listen.
takes tough shots.
I hate the way he played.
Auburn was just hot, man. Like, let's just call it what it was.
I'm glad that they beat Kentucky because I would have been super pissed if they would have came out and laid an egg.
No, they weren't going to. They should have lost.
They should have. Kentucky should have won that game.
Yeah, Kentucky should have won that game. Kentucky is Kentucky and Duke suffer from the same thing. They don't play enough players. They run with their dogs too long. They don't develop a bench.
Auburn guards was just better.
Oh, they was getting money.
Like when the game gets tough, I will continue to say this. I will say this my entire life. You have to have guards finish the game. Like
Yeah.
if your best player is a big man and you're going to your big man with the game on the line,
It's not happening.
you're not gonna win.
Yeah.
Like you're just not putting yourself at a good circumstance. Like no, like you have to have guards who are able to make plays for others, make plays for themselves. Also can stretch the floor. They can just do multiple things. Big man can only do one thing. Like we giving the ball to PJ Washington with the game on the line and he's facing up and he's seeing double teams, he's seeing help defense for the last 3-4 minutes of the game. Like
And PJ is no slouch.
no,
Nah.
he's good. No, he's good.
No.
No, he's good. He's gonna be good in the league. He's gonna be good.
Kentucky ain't had no guards this year. I said that all year.
That's crazy though. That's
They
crazy.
usually have good
It's
guards.
crazy to say that Calipari
Don't
doesn't have good guards. That
And he usually has good guards.
is
They
crazy.
could add Kobe White. Trade
But they keep losing these guards early on, so it was bound to happen.
Man.
I mean, but he usually is good at finding a replacement. I mean,
Yeah, but if you can get guys to commit early, if you can get good guards to commit early on, like he doesn't have that chance.
Or maybe he's just not paying them enough no more.
I'm down. Shit, it's Kentucky.
uh,
It's Kentucky. The cash is coming out. Now. Come on now, we all know.
I mean, so maybe he ain't paying them enough to get these good guards.
what about
don't
Purdue?
say that.
That's what I'm getting, man.
Carson Edwards.
Woo! Flamethrower. Bro, his shot, he hit 10 threes.
10.
9 of them. Outside of that bank shot.
What's that?
Draws, you hear me? Nothing but the bottom of dog. Net was barely moving.
Man,
It didn't matter.
man.
And he wasn't pulling up at the line either.
He was in his zone.
But
Bro,
so,
bro, he was not like, splat. Like,
You mean all tournament? If you've been watching Purdue all tournament, he's
yeah,
been doing
yeah.
it all tournament.
dude, that was, man, it wasn't hitting
no,
no rim.
just net.
Like, net.
We gonna do that next level though.
You don't think so?
Nah. People will figure him out. If you watch Purdue at the end of the year, like he shot the ball really bad, like the last 2 weeks of the season. Like he was bound. He was due to get hot at one point, but he shot the ball. He was not shooting the ball really well at the end of the year,
Well,
but he was like incredible that game though. But Barkley said it best. Like, why didn't he just take the ball out of his hands? Like at that point, like watch a guy give you 30, and then you continuously let him get open looks. Like, all right, you gotta just let somebody else beat you at that point. But
he hit a couple contested ones in the first half.
yeah, but I mean,
They were still still wet.
Listen, once you hit 3 or 4 of them, it don't even matter.
That's
man.
the way he was
It don't
hitting
even matter, man. You just gotta see a little bit of orange, man. It don't even matter. You gotta feel for the game already. Your legs into the game, like you confident. Like it don't even matter. Like it
See,
don't even matter.
that's the thing I don't understand though. Like with shooters, like if I'm the opposing coach, why don't you go at the shooter? Like take their legs out of the game. Just attack. Make them play defense.
Depends on who they put them on. It just
I mean,
depends
but
on who they
I'm
put 'em
just,
on.
I don't know. I get it.
Especially in college, it's real hard to do in college.
It's hard to do in
Yeah,
college.
because you don't have a lot of. You train, like I said, you train your point guards to set up offense, no pass first. I mean, unless you have a guy like Morant, like on your
Yeah.
team, or you have a team like Murray State or something like that. Like Trey Jones, Trey Jones could probably go to any other team in the nation and average 16 or
You talking
17.
about Trey Jones to do?
Yeah, Trey Jones do. He could probably go to any other team in the nation. A bad team, I should say. Not any other team in the nation, but a bad team. Or a medium level team and average 18 a game. Like he's that good. But at Duke, they're gonna train him to
Set up the offense.
set up the offense. You'll get it back. They always tell you that. That's what coaches tell. That's what coaches tell point guards, right? They want you to pass the ball. They be like, "You'll get it back. You'll get it back." That's the most bullshit thing I've ever heard. That's the most bullshit. You know how many times I heard that in my life?
Never got it back.
That's why you
Never got
started
it back.
shooting.
You just-
No, that's
you
why.
just-
No,
you just start gunning.
that's why I moved to the 2. But yeah, yeah, Edwards just had the green light, man. He's hot, man. Once you get hot, man, you hot.
He was
I don't
hot.
care.
He was
And then the game before that, Clown was hot.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't help off him. Shit, you help off him, he get going. Now you really did. So
But
they were going at Klein. He
Yeah.
fouled out the game.
now this was the game where my theory, if you up 3, foul, right? Send it to the line, but it came back to bite for doing it, but
I ain't fucking fouling. I don't like fouling.
came back to bite for doing it, but
Dude, people have been. This is I think the theme of this tournament was rebounds off free throws.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all can agree on that,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the fourth. This is like the fourth game it happened. Like, this is legit the fourth game it happened.
Make the free throw, please.
Like, and the play to tap it back, I thought was going to hurt them. Like, I thought he tapped it too far back and they weren't ready to get a playoff. But he put just enough. He took enough off of it to where it was still in play.
yeah.
Buddy on Virginia was the number 0. I don't know his name.
Uh-huh.
Took guts to make that pass
Oh,
from half court
Oh, yeah.
with about 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you have a choice.
just in the thought of it, like
To know that
like this is
still
a better
pass.
percentage shot.
Well, what he said was he looked at the clock on the other basket.
Yeah, like
So,
to know that he
so
had
time was up.
he's got a better look here than I do at half court with about, but he threw the pass on the money.
on the money.
Like all dude had to do was about 7 feet.
Virginia gotta be the luckiest team. Virginia gotta be the luckiest team.
Who y'all think gonna win?
I'm going for Auburn.
Oh.
I will never put my trust in Bruce Pearl. Give me Michigan State.
I ain't mad at that. I'm going for Auburn because they beat Carolina.
I'm going for Virginia. I
Like
just
somebody
think
in the ACC?
I just think this is, they go from losing in the first round to winning it all.
They're bound to drown.
So we got.
I mean, they play
They
all.
down the track.
They on the Duke level. They on game 3 now too. They survived 2 games. They survived 2 close games.
Yeah. So we got Texas Tech playing Michigan State.
Is Texas Tech the sleeper team?
Yes.
They're playing great basketball.
They played great.
They were actually my sleeper team, and they're the only team that I had that was a sleeper that did.
They got Cove on their team, the Cove kid.
Covers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Covers.
I think Michigan State. I think it's gonna be Michigan State Auburn.
Coaching. Time is up. That's what I'm going to continue to say. All right, and then we're going to come back and we'll talk about how him treating Henry got them a national championship.
But you know, the last time a player got hurt, like on Auburn, was with Ware at Louisville. One of their best players. Well, Ware wasn't their best player, but somebody got hurt to that level and they rallied around and won the whole thing.
It's like Ware was definitely.
Yeah, but I think that's the same type of effect Auburn can have right now, riding that momentum. So I'm gonna go with them.
What's his name? Okiki.
Yeah, he was
killing y'all.
getting all of the money,
He was killing y'all.
all of the church's money.
When he went down, y'all probably like, we got a chance
I
to come back.
told my dad, I said, we gotta go on a run.
Coming back.
I said, we
That's
coming
what y'all
back.
said?
I said, this the run.
Run. They didn't miss a 3. You hear me? They didn't miss a 3. Carolina couldn't make a 3, and they was taking some of the worst long 2s,
man.
contested 2s.
Hey, but even
God, awful.
They was getting some of their shots just smacked.
Dude, to the 5th row.
Dunk smack, everything.
they had bad legs.
You can tell. You can look at Roy Williams and just know when it's like, this is not our fight anymore. Like Roy Williams would give you a look like.
He just sit there.
He'll go like this and look at the coach like,
It was one.
we going home.
It was one stretch where he took out like Kobe White and a couple other people and put some dudes I ain't never heard. I don't
He'll
even
do
know if y'all heard
that.
of.
He'll do that. It was a teaching moment.
But then they started shooting threes, and I was just like, oh, he forfeit. This is it. He
It's
threw the white towel, man.
Coach Roy coaches a 3-4 year program. Like he doesn't coach the coach one and done. It's like I mean he's gonna have a couple one and dones this year, but that's not why he coaches.
Hopefully he gets one next year in Cole Anthony. I'm banking on that.
Bonzi Wells and Cassius Winston related.
Go to sleep. See what
So
Just like, man. Bonzi Wells and Cassius Winston, man. Y'all look at him.
I don't even want to even talk to this man.
the bracket challenge as it stands. Jesus, God bless America.
Dude, we don't care about the bracket challenge.
I bet you don't, Marquette. I bet you don't, Marquette.
Hey, Five, do you have any team in the Final Four?
The man got
Virginia.
550 points, and that's
I had Virginia in the Final Four.
dude.
Give me some credit.
Dude, that's the worst bracket you've ever filled out.
I won the bracket last year.
Look, that's where you're gonna be
I
passing
won.
that torch
I fell
to.
off like bad dope, man.
My
Jesus.
God.
Jesus. I filled out last minute. I did no research, man. What Big Sean say, man?
Dude.
Nah, I can't say that.
Yep.
out there.
Yep.
I can't say that out there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna do some research next year, though.
I hope so, brother. Cause
Bracket was trash.
Man, I'm so
at least you ain't had to do with it.
Nah, I never ever had Duke win in my bracket.
picking North Carolina did what?
It got me the first.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I got something I want to talk about real quick. All right. So, in a sports chat on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
you know it's about to be bad when I just say sports chat on Facebook.
This sounds god awful.
God.
A guy said that Zion Williams is the best Duke
No.
basketball player
No.
Grant
of
Hill.
all
No.
time.
Grant Hill.
No.
I saw them talking on sports and
No.
all this.
And then, all
What
right,
a sports.
somebody said, well, he not the best. Is he top 5?
Is Zion top 5? Duke played, ever played?
Ever play at Duke?
No.
Are we holding it to the fact that he's one and done?
It doesn't matter.
It's-
It's Christian Laettner, Grant Hill, Johnny Dawkins, J.J. Redick,
Jason Williams.
and Jason Williams. There you go. That's 5
I
right
don't
there.
think, man, but
That's 5 right there.
Zion.
Is Zion better than any of those 5 that I just named?
Look,
Dawkins?
I ain't never seen nothing like Zion in college before, man. Like this is different. Like the man, like
So you gotta think about it.
yeah, you have to. Like he didn't come into Duke and just like be average. Like the man came in exceeding expectations.
None of those players came to Duke and were just average.
But a lot of those guys, you have a larger sample size because they stayed.
But even if you just look at their freshman year alone, a lot of none of the 5, maybe Jason Williams, is the only one that you can take off and replace Zion with. The rest of them, their freshman year, solid.
I would say Zion probably had a better freshman year than Christian Laettner.
Probably, and all of them.
Yeah. They freshman year, Christian Laettner, when we did that Go Talk, his freshman year wasn't all that.
Alright.
Because what Zion, he's first team.
He's gonna be
can't
player of the
look it
year.
up.
Player of the
Y'all can't
year.
look it up. See, y'all looking at it.
But no, I mean to say that like you top 5 in like Duke history though, you're not gonna pick anybody else one and done, are you?
Would I pick somebody one?
I mean you can't like
Could I pick somebody one? I mean, again, I think Zion is 6 all time. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think if Kyrie played more games, he would be higher. He would probably make the list.
Man, Kyrie in college would have been crazy to say. Actually,
Like if Kyrie played the same number of games as Zion played, he definitely would make the list. Definitely.
Better question is, if they all came out the league, out Duke at the same time going into the league, which one would you pick first? Which one would you pick? Out of those, I think 5, 6 you just named, which one would you pick? Would you pick Zion over all those?
Grant Hill.
I agree. I'll pick Grant Hill. Then I'll pick Zion.
I think everybody picked Grant Hill.
Grant Hill.
I'll pick Grant Hill.
Grant Hill. I'm picking Grant Hill. But then again, like Tatum had a good 1 year at Duke. Ingram had a good 1 year at Duke.
I don't think we've ever seen somebody have a freshman year at Duke like Zion.
I mean,
I don't know if he's seen anybody have a
Freshman year like
And
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Best freshman year as ever.
dude. So I would
KD,
Melo.
Melo. I mean, he's got to be up there with those type of guys.
I mean, Odin had a good 1 year.
didn't Beasley have a
Oh,
Nah,
Beasley had a,
was going.
he was a dog.
going ape shit.
so I mean
He was a
dude,
dog. I mean, Beasley might be your comparison.
Rose.
Yeah, Rose. But Beasley might be a Zion comparison, though. Because Beasley was putting up double-doubles. Beasley was a rebound
and then
monster.
we actually got to see Zion. They actually advanced a lot of these guys in the tournament, except outside of like Melo.
Yeah.
They didn't go that far.
Yeah, Durant didn't go that far. What they got the second round?
Second round. They
And I think the thing with Zion is he went to Duke, so we got to see him on TV a lot more than we seen a lot of these other dudes, right? Like we didn't get to see Beasley really much on TV. We didn't see we saw Rose because Memphis was on TV.
Yeah, all the time.
We seen Melo enough,
Oh yeah.
right? We didn't see a lot of KD.
Texas, Big 12. Man.
A little bit.
A little bit.
He wasn't on TV enough.
But I don't
That's
think
what I'm saying.
And
Like,
not for it
but
to be
Zion was like, I mean, almost every other game was on TV. So you know what I'm saying. If you didn't see it on TV, it was on Sports Center all day long.
Yeah, I think the hype around him, on top of the fact that he went to a
Oh,
school
yeah.
like Duke, was just like,
But the crazier part about it, here's the crazier part, right? And I was saying this the other day. Zion came out of high school the #2 player ranked in the nation on ESPN, and he was #5 on Rivals. #5. I'll tell y'all the 4 players that were ranked better than him on Rivals.
I knew RJ was ahead.
RJ was 1. Nasir Little was 2.
okay.
Okay.
Cam Reddish was 3. And Bol Bol was 4.
Bobo, I can see Bobo kind of in that range because when Bobo, them first couple games, he was going crazy. I would have loved to see him in just more in the tournament too. So, I mean, I kind of see him like. Don't get me wrong, Zion had like a crazy season, but I think Bobo would have had a crazy season too.
But do you think that a lot of times the rankings coming out of high school are wrong? Or do they not really matter as much as people? Like, it's like, they say, oh, Duke had the top 3 players in the nation, and Reddish there than Zion. Does that truly mean anything? Can those ratings and rankings be wrong coming out of high school?
A little bit, but they ain't too far off most of the time. Not the top 5.
You think Nasir Little was the top 5 player in the nation?
He was our second best player. I want to say he was our second best player. I mean,
So
maybe
who was
maybe
the best
top,
player?
maybe Luke May was the best player on the team.
So you think Nasir Little was better than Cam Johnson? Because I think Cam Johnson was y'all best player.
I think he was more steady. I think Cam Johnson was more steady than him, but I think Little had on the big games, Little had more impact. Like Johnson is just super steady. You're gonna get the same thing out of him every game. Kind of like a Justin Jackson. He reminds me of Justin Jackson, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's just how I take it. But yeah, I just want to see what y'all thought, man.
Yeah,
I had 4 off the top. I had
your 4?
I had Leitner, Hill, Reddick, and Jason Williams. I was
Okay.
kind of going back and forth between him and Dawkins.
Okay.
But I had 4 ahead of him off top. I'm like, come on, man, y'all crazy, man. First of all, if you dare out your mouth say that he's better than Jason Williams, I will slap anybody. Jason Williams did some incredible stuff in college.
Yes.
I hated Jason Williams.
he ain't missed. He ain't missed.
Hated him. I hated him. You know how people say they hated Christian Laettner?
Yeah.
I hated Jason Williams.
He only played 4 years, though, didn't he?
Who? Jay Williams?
Jason Williams?
He
No,
played
like
4
3.
Grand years?
3.
They all played more than 1 year, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
All
those
the time
players
played 3 or 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But as Coach K has always said, if one and dones were around when Dawkins was in college, he would have been a one and done. Leitner would have been a one and done. Grant Hill would have been a one and done.
Yeah.
JJ one and done. All of those guys would have been one and done.
It just wasn't big. It just wasn't big back then.
Yeah, I would put him 5th.
5th. Who's your
Off the same 4.
Oh, the same 4. So you taking Dawkins off because you didn't see him play, or?
I mean, I do. Zion, I feel like he's gotta be in the 5, bro. His freshman year was too good.
So are you saying? So give me this. Are you saying? All of the hype that we've seen about Zion in high school, and for him to come to college and not only produce, but produce at the level that he did, that elevates him for you in the top 5 of Duke all time.
Yeah, and the games that they was winning in the tournament was because of him.
I'm not arguing.
Like,
I'm okay with that.
And then he was defensively, dude, when they was playing Virginia Tech, Buddy come down full speed, he hit him with a Hezo. Oop. I was like, oh, he got him.
Okay.
What? Dude, I'm glassing your shit, boy. Boom. Oh, dude, man, look.
Wait, did y'all see the block in the first half of that game? When he blocked it and everybody stopped for a second?
Bro, when he played Michigan State, he almost hit his head on the backboard.
That
Dude, I'll put him at the 5. I'll put him 5th, because I would put him 5th. I would put him 5th.
I ain't mad at it.
3.
What time is
Said
it?
3?
I put him 3 at the Christian Laettner. Grand year, Christian Laettner.
Yeah, with Jason Williams?
I mean, he played
Didn't I tell y'all we needed a new camera?
Man,
I told y'all it was 5 when the show
are you
started.
kidding me? Played 3 years.
If Zion played three,
He
three
didn't,
or four-
though.
But I'm saying though,
He didn't though. He didn't though.
Because he's that good.
He didn't
well,
though.
you're right. One and done's wasn't ranked.
He didn't though.
But if they only played
Oh,
one
you need to go
year,
look at some Jason Williams highlights.
I seen him. Jason was great.
Nah,
But they only played 1 year as
Hey,
a
man.
freshman.
Hey, look.
We disagree.
Win the game down 10 with 45 seconds.
I saw
Win the game.
JJ.
Who they play that game?
They was playing Maryland.
Okay.
Come on now. They
I
was playing
saw
us now.
JJ Redick.
Maryland had a good team.
Y'all
I mean,
just
Maryland had
said
a
though,
good
they
team. Maryland had a
freshman
good
year.
team. They had a little charge,
Y'all
yo.
just said Zion was having one of the best freshmen ever. So if they only played 1 year as a freshman, you would take Zion. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna just go off freshman year. I'm gonna go off the whole entire career.
Dude, JJ Redick and them dudes monsters.
Yeah, Jason Williams on another level. He
Uh,
might be the best college guard I've ever seen in my life.
He was a dog.
He was.
And
Absolutely.
That's like a tall statement. The best college guard you ever
That I've
seen.
ever seen in my life. Yes.
he didn't
I
miss, bro.
can say that with confidence.
He had-
And I'm a North Carolina fan.
He had
Do you hear me saying this? I'm a North Carolina fan. Jason Williams was downright incredible in college. He was incredible.
He was quick.
He made all the right decisions. He was a great outside shooter.
He fundamentally sound.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was a
He
dog.
So I just want to tell you, Johnny Dawkins as a freshman averaged 18.1 points, 4.8 assists, and 4.1 rebounds.
Super solid.
That's very good.
And he shot 50% from the field.
Super solid.
That's what I'm telling you. Johnny Dawkins.
That's very good.
He-
Yeah.
he-
He would have been the one and done. It would've
He
been one
would.
and
Oh,
done.
it definitely been one and done.
Y'all would have been one and done.
All of them.
And Jason Williams, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not gonna let you sit here and
Didn't I
disrespect
tell
Jason
y'all at the
Williams like
beginning of the show?
Zion
He's
played
fighting.
2 more years.
So we going right to go talk.
Can't tell.
What we've been doing.
We got people looking for us, man. They looking for us to go
Alright.
live, man. They
So-
want us to go live, man.
We about to go live right now on Facebook. We asked some of our listeners, give us some Go Talk suggestions, and we got some really good ones. This week, we are going to be going with. Should we just say who they are instead of just doing the player A, player B?
Yeah, let's just say who they are.
All right. So
Who gave it to us?
I feel like that was Percy.
It was
Big
Pete. Pete Funk.
That was Pete. Fat Mackington. Follow him on Twitter. Fat Mackington.
The next time you barbecue and don't invite us over, we just
Next time we barbecue and don't invite us, when he go to sleep, we gonna take his grill.
I'm just
We gonna take his grill.
Nah,
Only man I ever know barbecue and don't invite a damn person.
not
to
a
the damn
person.
Look at these Henny barbecue wings.
And then throw it in the chat like
Yeah,
it's just like
bro, these flame, bro. With the charcoal, with the
What?
Jack Daniels charcoal. Ooh, boy, he was snapping.
he made me want to get on my grill.
Boy.
And then I thought about it for a second. I ain't going out there.
You going out there?
Not yet.
Slap the hell out there, man.
I'm telling y'all right now, I'm gonna start getting
Show
high.
up- I'm just gonna show up at the door next time.
Show up with some steaks.
What?
Put these on the grill, P. They already marinated. 5 to 3 days.
5 to 3
We don't
days.
use pork and bean juice. We use molasses. That's passe. So
I don't even know what that
Hustle, man. Hustle, man. Catch up, man.
Dominique Wilkins versus Vince Carter. Vinsanity. That's what we got this week. Very good comparison. Very good. Looking at these numbers,
is. Vincent
both of them.
100 years.
Both of them. Number one, in my opinion, Vince Carter is the greatest dunker of all time.
Absolutely.
Dominique Wilkins is definitely not far. In my book.
Is he number 2?
Number 3 in my book.
Ooh.
He got over Dominic.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Come on, man. Come on, man. Do that, man. Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
What is Sean Kemp rank?
He's up there. But he was so disappointed in his dunk contest.
I believe that. But I mean,
4 or 5. 4 or 5.
I'm going Michael Jeffrey
Ain't
too.
got number 2 good ass dunks everybody like. The only damn Sean Kemp highlights everybody else posts. Talking about he the best dunker of all time. Show me some more highlights. I can show you about 8 minutes with Jordan dunking on
what about Dr. J? Where he at?
man.
He's just the OG of the whole thing.
You know,
Like,
Dr. J do nothing but dunk.
that's false,
Fuck
man.
Dr.
Dude, no.
That's a good clip. What number?
No,
Oh,
no.
59. Yep.
Dude, no. He the OG.
Somebody show me a footage of Dr. J shooting a jump shot, please.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see some footage.
How he averaged 20-some points, man? He was just not dunking, bro.
Hey, we got
Can somebody
Oh,
tell me
yeah.
what Dr. J? Can somebody tell me what Dr. J form look like? I guarantee.
You know how many players from the 70s that we don't know how they form look like?
I want to know. I want to know.
You ever play 2K?
Anybody under 50 can tell me what Dr. J form look like.
under 50.
Under
I can
50.
tell you.
What it look like? How he shoot?
You look like a form. Doctor.
No, the doctor's not
It
shooting.
look like a
You just
form.
made that up.
It looks like a
Doctor
form.
wasn't shooting like that, man.
Dude, you think he really averaged all them points? Like, think about if Zion was back in the day. Like, we would have thought he was a dunker.
Yeah, that's all he is.
That is all he is. I mean,
He wasn't doing nothing but, come on, he was just dunking in the tournament.
I mean, he hit a couple threes, but.
1 or 2 threes a game. Yeah, that's not a lot of.
But it
jump
still
shots.
wasn't all dunks, though.
Oh,
That's not a lot
okay.
of jump shots.
It was
So
like-
if
In the
you
game.
average 24 points a game and you get 6 points off a jump shot.
Dude, Dr. J was not just. Go look up some Dr. J.
I'm still mad you can't tell me what Dr. J form look like.
He just showed you.
You know how Jerry West shoot?
Huh? Yeah.
How he
that's
shoot?
The white boy.
No. No, exactly. You know how Jerry West shoot?
It was draws.
You know how Oscar Robertson shoot?
Yeah, he was another one.
So he just dunked.
Probably
I
got
ain't
the
gonna
nastiest triple W you ever seen. in your
I'm not
life.
gonna let you disrespect.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't
I'm
know how
not
half of
gonna-
these guys,
I'm
you don't know
not
how
gonna
half
let
of
you-
these guys shot back in the day, dude.
I'll let you disrespect.
So you gonna
that.
dis-
Hey, do you know how nasty Russell Westbrook's triple double look like? Can you imagine what the Oscar Robertson triple double look like?
He wasn't
Did
forcing
he?
it.
He didn't average that with what's his name?
With Kareem?
Yeah.
No. It was before Kareem, I
Okay.
believe. Yeah, can you imagine how nasty
Hey,
those
we're not
triple
gonna
doubles
disrespect Oscar.
Can you
We're not.
imagine?
Hey, Oscar
He was
Robertson
much
is the
more of a
reason we
graceful
got a
player than
CBA.
Russell Westbrook.
Hey, it's probably some of the worst basketball you probably ever seen.
Hey, Oscar Robertson, the reason we got a CBA. Be respectful.
Talking about
I'm
players.
forever in debt to the greats.
Players
Still
forms.
don't take it back.
Talk about
It was
forms.
probably the ugliest triple double you
Come
ever seen
on,
in your
man.
life.
Hey, man.
Let's go to the coach.
Please,
What we
Jesus
stand
Christ.
up?
Julius Irvin, if you're watching, we won't have, it'll only be 2 people hosting next week. I promise he won't be back.
No camera. Camera in the fire.
Jesus.
Sure.
Yeah, we gonna kick both of y'all out. You out here disrespecting Dr. J. Oh my God, where we at? Dude, Vince Carter career numbers, man.
And somebody out there, please, if you were watching, please tell me what Dr. J.
Just go to YouTube, bro. Just type in the
I
game
can't
from the
find it.
finals.
I can't find
Watch one of them finals games.
I am sick of 5. All
I'll
right.
let y'all know in a minute what it look like.
We don't like. Is anybody watching on live? Please?
Yeah, Jeff says stop disrespecting the doctor.
Thank you, my
Okay.
God.
Can Jeff tell me what his form look like? Ask him.
Jeff.
Hey Jeff, can you tell me what his form look like, please? Do you
How you
know?
gonna demonstrate it? You can't
How
see
you
it.
gonna demonstrate it?
Here's the
can't-
picture.
If you know what his form, what his form look like, give us a yes.
If
please.
you
Give us a
don't
yes
know,
in the
if you
comments.
don't know what his form look like, how you gonna know it if somebody show it to you?
That's a great question.
The one I showed you could have been it. You don't know.
It wasn't it.
How you know?
Because I saw it on the documentary. I finally saw it when they had a Dr. J documentary.
Did the shot go
We
in?
can't even get the go talk here. 'Cause we already
Shot
got
go
Dr. J for.
All right,
Just wanna let y'all know that.
Sorry, P. We on the Dr. J. We on the go talk.
Jesus. God bless
Dominic
America.
was consistent.
I think what's gonna hurt Vince is he been playing so long, his numbers just
His career number. So to me, you can't really look at his last like 7 years. Like you're not gonna be able to look at that.
Dominique had that injury.
Like when did Dominique stop? Dominique played kind of late in his career too,
Yeah,
though,
but-
didn't he?
But I mean, he
Like,
didn't
his
fall
last
off
year.
till 98, 99, where he averaged 5 a game.
Yeah,
But look at the year before that though.
yeah,
That's what I'm
18
saying, he had
18 a
average
game
18.
at 37.
Playing with the Spurs.
With 6
Anybody got that-
rebounds.
Anybody got that throwback jersey?
Coming off the
Nah.
bench too. He only started 26 games.
No, don't nobody got that.
He only started 26 games that year.
Average 29 with the Clippers.
When he was 36, he played in another pro
He
league.
played for the Clippers.
Yeah.
You know,
25
It's
games.
only 25 games though. They had to been trash.
He played in
The
Boston.
Clippers was always trash.
Awful.
He played in Boston for 1 year.
Matter of fact, he was shooting the ball 24 times a game
With who?
with the Clippers
You wouldn't?
in 25 games. He just got there.
You
He
wouldn't?
was getting them shots off.
So-
You hear me?
Alright, show me how Dominique Wilkins shoot.
Man, he had an ugly jump shot.
Come
That
on.
jump shot was ugly. It was draws though. But it was draws though.
Alright, let me look at this, man. Ooh,
He had a real high release.
looking at these accolades. I'll first just GP. I'm gonna say Dominique. I'm gonna say Dom. Well, let me see Vince playoffs. Such a short span though with Vince, man. Like,
How many times did
Short.
I'm talking about like his numbers though. Like they fell off quick.
I mean, he was
Yeah, he did a
good
lot.
from 23 till he was 32. He was good for about 9 years.
Yeah. Let me see. Dominique. Yeah, his playoff numbers, bro. He got out the first round once. Wait, no, that was just twice. Might have been twice. Maybe 3 times. Played 9 games. Okay.
Dominique played 16 seasons.
Yeah. Playoff numbers, bro. He was a beast.
Who?
Field percentage wasn't all that great a few
Dominique?
years. Yeah, he's averaging like 30.
Yeah, he was getting swept in 3 games.
Nah, he been playing, bro. These games some of these ain't all sweeps.
No.
I know that. He had 3 years when he got out the.
Did he get the Eastern Conference
And he
Finals
had
year?
that. He had that
He got
battle.
the Eastern Conference Finals that year, right? The year they played 12 games?
Nah.
Yeah, they got the Eastern Conference
He was
Finals.
in the Eastern
Was it the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah, it was the Eastern Conference Finals.
He was in the
Yeah.
Eastern Conference Finals once.
Y'all sure?
Yes, just like Vince was.
I don't think that was the Eastern Conference Finals, bro.
What year you talking about, right?
88.
Yeah, they won the Eastern Conference
I
Finals.
don't think that was second round when they was going head up with Bird and
Might
them.
have been second round.
12 games?
You can
He
play,
played 5 and he played 7
7-game series.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, it was the Pistons and the Celtics.
Mm.
Because he went head up with Bird
They
that
went-
game
They
7.
won 5 games with Milwaukee, and then they won 7 games with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Mm.
Actually, we're winning the Celtics series 3 games to 2 and choked the last 2 games.
He got money game 7, though.
It damn sure wasn't because of him. He had 35 and 10 game 6, and he had 47
Going
game
crazy
7.
game
47.
7. Hey, he
Yeah,
going head up with
47.
Bird.
Yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
give me Dominique. I don't need to hit no more.
19 for 33.
Mm.
Yeah, he was getting money.
You can give me Dominique.
I'm going with Dominique. I ain't even gonna lie. Vince went head up with AI that one year, but outside of that, we don't have nothing else that we could say about Vince in the playoffs.
No, actually, no. You a lie.
How far did they go, though?
Hold on. Vince got a year where he played 12 games, 11, 12, and 14 in the playoffs.
That was with the Nets, right?
He had 11, 12 with the Nets. He actually played 14 games with the Magic, but that was the Dwight year. But with the Nets, yeah, he played 12 games. He was averaging.
He did his thing.
22.
Man, the first
First
year,
29.
the first year,
30.
29.
Just round that off. We round that up.
Did we get that 30?
30.
We get 30, 37 and 5?
That's solid.
That's
Very
real
solid.
good, actually.
I'm still gonna take Dominique.
And then versus Toronto, he was averaging 27, 7 and 5.
His first year in the playoffs was weak, though. He had that
That
first
first year in
that
Toronto.
first year. Oh, yeah, when they played the
When
Knicks
they
that
played the
first
Knicks,
round.
yeah.
He averaged 19 that
Oh,
series.
he was bad. 30% from the field, 10% from the three.
That's what made T-Mac leave.
He was god awful. He was
T-Mac?
awful. No, Vince.
I thought you were talking about T-Mac.
That was T-Mac's coming out party. He was so
Yeah.
bad.
He bounced back that next year.
Yeah, yeah, he dogged him in the playoffs.
He bounced back that next year.
Well, he didn't dog him, but he had a good end to the series.
But I'm
He only had one game where he dueled with AI.
Yeah.
He had 50 that game.
That was at Game 7?
No, that was game
he only
6.
had- Game 7, he only had 20.
Yeah,
What?
that was when he went to North Carolina, graduated,
Oh,
and
yeah,
came back.
came back.
29 and 7.
Yeah,
He only lost by 1.
yeah, he missed that shot at the end.
What's that 3?
Played all 48.
Tyrone Hill ran.
I love that. I love that.
I love
seeing
that.
play all
Game
48.
7?
Game 7, you know that team.
Nah, these Madonnas these days, they'd play like 44,
LeBron
43.
played 48.
I haven't seen games with LeBron play about 44, 45.
Shoot, that's a lot of minutes. I done seen the game where he played 51.
I want to see him play all 48.
I seen the
Man,
game.
ooh, hold on. Let me read y'all Vince minutes this playoffs. 2001. 46, 39, 47, 47, 48, 47, 47, 45, 47. He played a 35, and he played 43 and 48.
Mm.
Ooh,
He wasn't getting no rest.
ooh, that man wasn't sitting down.
He
You
wasn't getting
feel
no
me?
rest.
Ooh.
No rest.
On top of that, I'm gonna pick Dominique.
Waiting for it, because
You know, the better comparison to me for Dominique is always Carmelo.
yep.
Always Carmelo. Like,
Why? That's interesting.
I can.
Both of them played the three.
They both play the three. They
They
haven't
did.
had a ton of success in the playoffs. They're both very good scorers. Melo's probably gonna pass Dominique on the scoring list. Well,
Did he pass him already?
he might have passed him already. Yeah, he's passed him already. Like, to me, that's the comparison. Like, that's like Carmelo is Dominique Wilkins just without the bounce.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Carmelo when he go head up with Bron. Everybody used to look at same way with Dominique used to play Mike.
Yeah, he
Bird with his thing.
But
Bird was his matchup.
Bird,
It was more Bird than it was Mike.
I think him and Bird played the same position. But
Yeah.
I mean, even still though, to play against, you know what I'm saying? Jordan, he would go head up with him like. So no, I agree with that comparison with him and
Melo.
yeah.
Who'd you take?
Who? Nico Melo?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with Melo.
Nico Melo.
Mellow love.
I'm gonna go with Melo. I'm telling you,
His overall-
I
his-
will forever say that Carmelo Anthony is probably the most underrated, disrespected superstar that we've ever seen play the game of basketball.
I will 1,000% agree with you on that.
Melo made the playoffs and was a dog from the day he stepped in the league.
Absolutely.
The day he stepped in the league. And a lot with Melo, where he gets, the bad rap, is, I would say, coaching and the teams around him. But Melo was a dog. Was a dog.
You gotta look at it.
I don't think you were disrespecting. Just
I don't
you
Now Melo
Oh,
is
yeah,
definitely-
absolutely
Melo is grossly
Absolutely disrespected. Yeah, absolutely.
Grossly
I'm
disrespected.
I'm just saying. I don't.
Man,
Top 20, he a top 20 scorer of all time. Like,
and
yeah.
people act like Melo is a
Yeah, they have like
Man.
people who ask me, is Carmelo Anthony a first ballot Hall of Famer? That is the most disrespectful
stupid.
question I
That's a
have
dumb
ever
question.
heard in my
You
entire
guys
life.
ask you that? Oh, I know people have that.
whoever asked you that, you just slapped.
Is Carmelo Anthony a first ballot Hall of
Absolutely.
Famer? Are you kidding me?
Whoever asked you that, you should find him and slap him.
I would take Melo. To me, his offensive game is just all
That's all it
around. The
takes.
total package is just better than Dominique. The thing with Melo though, man, I just feel like he's made bad. I mean, of course they want you to secure your bag, but I feel like Melo could have put himself in position to go to better teams and have better postseason success. So we could have seen him, like instead of now, like he's not on a team. Like we probably could have seen him like on a team really competing.
I'm gonna go back to what Five has said, and I believe this is what Five said. We want players to be loyal, but when they're loyal and it doesn't work out, we say they made a wrong move. Like, you cannot have your cake and eat it too.
I never said. I was always like when people was like, "Oh, LeBron's not loyal." Man, skip all that, man. Like skip all of
But
that.
then we praise the players that are loyal
I don't.
and never leave.
I don't.
But when a player decides,
People do.
but when a player decides to do or follow their heart and do what's best for them in that moment, whether it's again stay with a team or going with a ring, you're always in a lose-lose situation. Always.
I think with Melo, is a lot of him staying, like he kept saying winning was like his priority. Like he wants to win.
But again,
Him with the Knicks, staying with the Knicks was not showing, it was showing more loyalty than showing that he wanted to win.
But what if his definition of winning was winning for New York? What if he wanted to win for New York? Like that like I think a lot of people forget that. Like
He's from New York.
he's from New York. Like he wanted to win in New York. It ain't his fault that management couldn't get it together, or it ain't his fault that some of the teams that they had just couldn't stay healthy. Like that's not on him. And yes, I understand he took a lot of money and probably cashed out New York, but I mean he wanted to win for New York. I will never be mad at a person for wanting to win a championship for their city.
And here's another thing that I'll add on that. Like, we always say he took the money, but the money that he was making, like, it's chump change now.
Absolutely.
Like, it's chump change now. Like, that's like second player good money. That's like second or third best player on the team money now.
He got paid the market at the time.
Yeah, it was the market at the time. He was a superstar. Like, He's a superstar in the NBA. What do you expect him to make?
Hey, all I'm saying is, like, I agree. In some aspects, he can be underrated. But all I'm saying is, like, I don't not place blame on him for not winning.
So let me ask this question.
Like, it ain't all his fault, but he's definitely, as the leader of that team, like, they were not good.
Okay, so let me ask this question.
That's why.
Let me ask this question. If Bron never leaves Cleveland to go to Miami, right, and he gets paid as much or more than Melo does, and LeBron never wins a championship, never, do you say the same about LeBron James?
I can't answer that question.
Why? Because he won.
It never happened. And even still, they had went to the finals once. Melo in New York, did they ever get out of the second round?
But again, that's not like.
What I'm saying is, him losing, you can't just say it was management. It was like some of the stuff.
Some of it was management, though.
No,
right?
but
Like,
some of it is also him. He's not blame free.
But think about so look at the team. Look at the best. Let's look at the best team that Melo had in New York, right?
I mean, he chose to stay there. Like, and take all the money.
So what would you say was the best team that he had in New York?
I mean, to be honest with you, when they had him, Amari, that was a solid squad.
Amari couldn't stay healthy. Like,
And that's Melo's fault?
No, but you look like later on.
Iman Shumpert couldn't stay healthy. That's Melo's fault?
I mean, so when is it ever Melo's fault? What responsibility do we put on Melo? Because you cannot be in this league, as you said, at one point he was a superstar player. You got to take some blame.
well, also, what's the best coach that Melo played for?
George Karl.
In New York.
In New York,
In New York.
We did real well.
D'Antoni.
I don't even know who his coaches was in New York.
D'Antoni.
Come on.
It ain't saying much, but I mean, you act like D'Antoni ain't never like been to a Western Conference
No,
final.
But what we're trying to say is he never had the tools. Never had the tools, all right?
I mean,
So-
Bron ain't necessarily played for a great coach.
About 10 coaches.
I mean, you gonna say Spoelstra's
LeBron is not
a
hasn't
great
played for 10
coach?
coaches. LeBron's only
Come
played
on,
for
not
like
really.
like
Not-
four.
Look, hold on. Spoelstra, to me, is
You gonna say-
underrated as a
Is he a
coach.
great coach?
He's underrated. He's a very solid coach.
Okay, but
He's a solid coach,
He's
yes.
got that team in the playoffs.
D'Antoni's not a solid coach.
Yes,
That's my-
but
let's leave it at that then.
but
Only with
look
the
at
personnel. Only with the personnel, though.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
D'Antoni
what I'm
has to have the
saying.
personnel.
You gotta look at everything
D'Antoni
has to
have
be equal.
D'Antoni has to have the personnel.
Hey, man.
Can you say he had a Steve Nash like guard
No.
or a James Harden like guard in New York?
No, he had Chauncey.
He didn't even have Chauncey.
Yeah,
No,
Chauncey. Yeah,
no, he
Denver.
didn't.
He didn't even
Yeah,
have
Chauncey
Chauncey.
Denver. I'm just saying he ain't blame free, man.
No, so that's my thing. Like the superstars always gonna get the blame, but it's only so much a player can do.
He chose to be
Think
there.
about it. So
I
wait,
didn't feel
scratch it.
no pity for
Okay,
Melo until
alright.
Phil started throwing him under the bus. Like when Phil got involved in New York, I was like, all right, it's getting a little
Okay,
bad.
so let me ask this question. Game 1 last year, the finals. Does LeBron get the blame for them losing that game?
Game 1.
Last-
Yeah.
Why?
JR gets blamed and LeBron gets blamed
Why?
for how
LeBron had 51.
You just asked me, you gonna let me answer it? You gonna ask me, you gonna let me answer?
Please tell me LeBron blame. The
Of course,
blame
we all know
gets.
JR is like.
Tell me the blame LeBron
But
gets.
listen, in overtime, there were still 5 minutes to go, and he gave up.
Bro,
You
his
just
coach did not call.
what do that have to do with 5 more minutes left and it's tied?
Sometimes you gotta save your team from themselves.
What you mean?
Tyronn Lue, when JR caught that ball and was running opposite direction,
I ain't talking about
he
that.
could have called the
I
timeout.
get that, but with all of that happening, we have game 1 of the NBA Finals is now in overtime, and you have 5 minutes to win the game. He gave up.
Okay.
So when you ask me where the blame comes, the blame for me with LeBron ain't in the first 4 quarters, right? You got a whole nother period to play. Get your head back in the game.
Fine, you blaming LeBron for game 1?
I won't just say like it's on like LeBron, but I will say that nobody in that huddle stepped up as a leader on the team.
He pouted and slouched and oh my god.
Like, and that's not all
Come on,
LeBron,
bro.
Like, the coaching staff, somebody on the coaching staff is supposed to speak up too. Like, and nobody did that. No assistant coaches stepped in. None of the head coaches stepped in. So
Got
it's not,
5
it's
minutes.
not. I would never just say that's like LeBron's fault. LeBron played out of his mind. Put his team in
Yeah,
position.
50.
Put his team in position to win the game, which is you're supposed to do. They just didn't perform. They fell apart as an entire team in the overtime. It wasn't just LeBron. They fell apart. They were done.
Body language
They were
speaks
done.
volumes.
It just wasn't him though. It was everybody. Everybody's body language on the team was bad.
You gonna follow your leader's body like
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
man.
I mean, we say that, but I mean, at the same time, like,
he could.
there's some other leaders on the team. There's some other leaders on the team. That team was a veteran team. Somebody else got to step up and say something.
I don't think ain't that you can't deny. Olympic medal was great.
That's a lot. What a lot of people gonna remember Melo for. That's sad.
He was great.
It's like one of the greatest Olympians.
If
'cause
you-
he's,
if-
I'm talking about people in general though. Like
If you only remember Melo for playing in the Olympics and being great, don't talk basketball.
Please don't.
Don't
I mean, a lot of people are gonna use that though.
Don't talk basketball.
You should talk to a lot of people.
Don't talk
But I
basketball.
will say, as far as I will
Don't
say,
talk
I
basketball.
will say, Melo chose a lot of his like in New York. That time in New York, dude, like he's taking blame for some of that, for some of his lack of success as far as team wise.
I just think that they never gave him the tools to win. He never was gonna win with the tools that they had.
Never.
Like never gonna win. Like the best chance they had of winning was the year that Chauncey tore his ACL. Like literally, the first game of the playoffs. Like that was their best year. Like that was their most talent. Amari was finally healthy. It was like, all right, we got a point guard. We didn't trade it for Chauncey. We got Chauncey over here. We got a leader, and then Chauncey tears his I don't know if it was Achilles or
I think
his,
it's- yeah,
That might have been
it was
Achilles.
Achilles. It tore his Achilles in the first game of the playoffs. So it's like, all right, now we're done.
I mean, don't get me wrong. First ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest scores we've ever seen. But I don't like when it comes to the New York situation. He don't get to escape.
And who's to say if he necessarily goes to Chicago that he necessarily?
They would have been 10 times better.
But who says they
But
necessarily?
who
win?
said that? And I say that all the
I never said they wouldn't have won like a ring
all
or
the
nothing,
time.
but he would have definitely played better with talking about a coach, Tibbs, who probably would have had him sticking a little bit of defense. And then the Bulls needed a wing player badly. They had D Rose.
I think that's what a lot of people hold against him, like that he didn't go to Chicago.
It ain't even like
He
it
didn't go
was
to
like
Chicago.
everybody knew the best basketball
Take
decision.
about 30 less million. Yeah.
That's only people from Chicago. That's not
Yeah,
anything
come
from
on,
Chicago.
man. Come on.
No, a lot of people thought the best basketball decision would have been to go to Chicago. That's not from Chicago. I heard commentators, analysts say that.
I mean, we're talking about a guy that is trying to do something for his own city, like, and he has the greatest coach, one of the greatest coaches in basketball history, telling him to stay. I will turn this around. Like,
You gotta put faith in it.
or do you listen to Gar Pax? Or do you listen to what Gar Pax has to say?
And you the man that said that you don't even want to see Zion in Chicago because of Gar Pax.
yeah,
You want Melo to come here.
Talent wise, they would have been right there.
I mean, but who are you going to trust more? You're going to trust Phil Jackson, who's won multiple rings, or are you going to talk about Gar Pax, who continuously runs superstars out of their own town? Like it was a trust thing too. Like it wasn't just a basketball decision; it was a trust issue. It was his city; he was comfortable there. His family was comfortable there.
Bron was comfortable in Cleveland too, and he left.
And he went back.
He went back, right? But he left. That's my thing. He left.
He got this ring.
He left. Okay, he left. He left.
I will always say Bron.
And I will say Miami LeBron is probably the best LeBron.
I mean, well, he was in his mid.
So we talk about him.
20s.
I'm just saying, like
That's everybody's prime years. Like, come on, man. Everybody's prime years.
I wouldn't say everybody.
I mean, just don't bring Michael Jordan up. Like, stop trying to bring Mike up. But
I wasn't even talking about
but
Mike.
for the most part, that's everybody's prime.
You
You name me a player prime wasn't in their mid to upper 20s.
what?
You name me a player.
I mean, you get some players that decline very quick.
I didn't ask you.
I mean, I don't have it written down, but if I went and researched it, I bet I could find a few of them for you, and I'll get back to
It
you.
don't sound like you can.
He didn't have the
Why wouldn't I be able to?
It don't sound like
They
it.
had their prime before their mid to upper 20s.
No, what I'm
A lot of players didn't even
Or
like
after.
think about it. A lot of players didn't come in the league until their mid to upper 20s, like their mid 20s, right? So 5 is spot on, like because no one and done player comes in the league and is already in their prime at the age of 19
I mean,
to
Karl
20.
Malone was playing great basketball when he won his MVP award at 34,
But-
putting up numbers that was better than, I guess you can quote, prime years when he was 27, 28.
No, but
In his prime years, when he was getting 30 and 13.
I mean, you got to define what that is, though. If you look up Karl Malone numbers, and he won it, if he won an MVP,
so winning the MVP means that you were better than that you were better 1 year than your prime years. That's what you're saying.
no. But I'm saying if you look at his numbers, I mean, I'm pretty sure that his years when he was getting older, they're probably not that far off. Karl Malone was very consistent his whole career. He was consistent his whole career.
Okay.
A lot of those guys was playing until they like mid-30s, like Mike and them. Like,
Yeah, but I think you're missing what Five's saying. Like, LeBron better should have been good in Miami. He was at the start of his prime. Like, he was at the start of his prime when he was in Miami.
There's a peak physical years.
Like, he wasn't
Of
learning the
stars,
game. He wasn't finding himself. Like, he was there. Like, he was there. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of players from before then, they were already 3 years into college. They're already 22, 23, 24, a lot of these guys. So when they get to the league, maybe a year, maybe 3 to 4 years before they find themselves, now they're in the prime of their career. That's what Five is saying.
And we're talking about, okay, so let's talk about Karl Malone a little bit. We can go into that a little bit. All right, at 25, Karl Malone averaged 29 and 11. At 26, he averaged 31 and 11. 29 and 12, 28 and 11. You want to know what he averaged when he won his MVP?
what?
26 and 10.
Come on, man.
Like,
on.
like
It's
man,
not
like,
far off, but he was
like-
killing when
When would you say Melo was in his prime? Don't even look at the number. When would you say he was in his prime?
I would probably say late Denver, early New York. He led the league in scoring twice in Denver. So, obviously, I would say that.
It was real early in his career when he was like his numbers early, like. I mean, it don't happen like Melo. Like if you look at Melo numbers, like. I mean,
what
if we going by like prime, like you say that year, him and LeBron the same age, right?
Melo actually won a scoring title at 28
In New York.
in New York. Yeah,
I wouldn't call that his best year though. Like prime.
28 and 7.
so
29 and
so,
7?
So where are you saying Melo's prime is?
I mean, dude, look at these like his like
Yeah, one other.
third year in the league, he was averaging 29.
Fourth year in the league.
Fourth year in the league, 29.
Okay, so how old was he his fourth year in the league?
22.
That's not your prime.
That's not his like.
Your prime is setting up number of years, whether you're good or not. From 28 to what? That's your prime, right?
So come on, so
let's say 28, right?
28 to
At
whatever.
28, he averaged 29 and 7.
That's his prime.
His next year, he
great.
averaged 27 and 8.
He's great.
All right. So how long your prime lasting?
To about 32, 33.
I mean, your prime could last a year or two. I mean, it could last a year or two.
So you telling me he averaged 28 and 27, and then in Denver, early on in his career, he averaged 26. Well, let's round to 27 and 29 and 26. I mean, it.
but again, he said
Which one is
five said your mid to upper 20s.
These.
So again, so this is what I'm saying. So he's giving you a range, right? Five gave you a range, mid to upper 20s, right? He's not saying that it starts directly at 25. He's saying in that range is usually when it starts. There are some people that are outliers where it happens before. So if you're saying Melo started before at 22 or 23 years old, he's 2 to 3 years before that. If you're saying there are some players where it happens in their 30s, then that just means they started a year after. But he's giving you a range to say between 25 to 29 years old. That's when a lot of players, that's when majority of players that come in the league hit their prime. That's what he's saying. You're always going to have outliers, right?
And let me tell you something. 29 in George Karl's system is a lot different than 29 in the triangle. Like, you know what George Karl is about. Up and down.
Up and down.
Run and gun, like, get it up. Like, it's a lot different. Like, they weren't playing any defense. Their scores were in the 110s, 120s.
Yeah.
They were like one of the first teams that was like really like just up and down, up and down, up and down, just the entire game. So I'm not discrediting his numbers. Like, his numbers is numbers. I mean, you still make the shots, you still put the basket in, still put the ball in the basket. But what I'm saying is, like, it's 28. Like, he getting crafty now and still getting 29. Like, slowing it down, mid-range, getting to the line, 3 balls. Like, man, we saw Melo do some crazy stuff. Don't act like we didn't see Melo do some crazy stuff in New York too.
Yeah, no,
We
he
saw
scored the most points in Madison
Yeah,
Square
we
Garden.
saw him put some shows on. Like, even versus the Bulls, he stayed killing the Bulls, man. It was a Bulls killer. That's why the Bulls wanted him. Like, let's just put that in the air. The Bulls wanted him because he was a Bulls killer
Like he killed them every single time.
Hey, like I say, you saw LeBron leave his hometown, go and come back.
But Melo didn't start in New York.
Hey man, he still had that option to leave though.
And if he left, he probably would have never came back.
Ain't no guarantee, but we don't never know what would happen because he never would have left. I feel like a lot of those like years he had in New York, like bro, like I would have much rather like I don't want to say they was wasted, but I would have much rather saw him more playoff Melo, playing at a higher level instead of like wasting years in New York where they wasn't never gonna win.
I can respect that, but what I'm not gonna do.
Huh?
We're never gonna win in Denver.
No, not even talking about in Denver, but I mean like when he went to the East, like at that time, like he could have, like I said, the Bulls were an option. Like, dude, like I
I
was
can
just wanted
respect
to
that.
see that. To me, Melo's game, like you want to see him go against LeBron with more competitive balance than like a hurt team. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's not his fault. The team.
I can respect that.
That's
but
not
I'm
his fault,
gonna
but him
discredit
staying
the
there-
New York.
But the
Knicks.
Bulls turned out to be a hurt team too.
I'm not gonna discredit the New York Melo
No.
at all. I respect.
I mean, I
what
don't
you're
discredit,
saying.
but I don't. He's not blame free. Like they didn't win.
See, I don't like when people blame the superstar. Only
I'm not
for
saying
losses.
he's the superstar only. What I'm saying is when y'all were saying it's been the management, it's been the injuries. Melo also played a part in some of
I
that.
don't, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like when people do that. Like, when a team wins, it's like, oh, Melo, or the superstar led them to this win. Like, it's never a team win then, right? It's always a superstar. But when the team loses, then it's always the superstar's fault. Like, you can't, like, it ain't just a one. This is not golf. This ain't tennis. This ain't track. You know what I'm saying? This is not a one-player sport. Like, I hate that with a passion. Like, yes, they lost. Was Melo the face of the team at the time? Yes. But he wasn't making personnel moves. He's not the trainer. He doesn't decide who plays and who doesn't play. Who gets what minutes, who doesn't. He's not the coach. He ain't God. He can't decide who gets an injury and who doesn't. Like, that ain't Melo's fault. Like, some things are just as a player, some things are just out of your hands, right? And you can only do so much with the amount of talent that you have to will your team to a victory.
So he
If you
blame,
want-
blame free?
No,
That's
not,
all I'm saying.
This is what I'm saying is, if you want to say, I feel Melo, if he's a superstar player, should have been able to win more games with the talent around him, I will understand that. But to sit here and say that Melo is the sole reason, or he gets,
I never said he was the sole
he's
reason.
saying he gets blamed.
No, I was saying he don't go scot free for blame. Like when people say it's the management's fault, some of it is his fault, some of it is injuries thrown it. Like he gets some of the blame in that. He don't get all of it. Hell no, he don't get all of it. But he gets a little bit of blame. Yes. How can you say it's solely his fault? It's not solely his fault. I will never think that. But yes, he does get blamed. He does get some of the blame for it. Like that's what comes with the territory, especially in New York. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. You just said it. It comes with the territory.
but it's
Because
also well deserved. It's
because
deserved
he's the
too, though.
face. He's the face. He's the big name.
You said it yourself. He don't go blame free, right?
But I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh,
That's all I said was he don't get to go blame
if
free.
I'm giving Melo blame in New York, I'm probably giving 5%.
Period. I'm not picking a percentage on it, but
I'm gonna give him 5%.
It sounds
Period.
like you a little bit more, 50%.
Yes, I'm giving
I
Melo
wouldn't- I wouldn't
5%.
go
He
that- I
did
wouldn't go
all
that
he
high.
could. Melo did all
I
he
wouldn't go
could
that
to. Melo did all he could to win in New York with the pieces that he had. Period. Period.
It's not enough, man.
Period.
I mean, but he did take a lot of money.
So he got paid what he was supposed to get paid when the market called for it.
Yes, he was worth that.
No, I'm not saying he wasn't worth it, but who could they have went and got with that money? That like if you
No,
So
Amari
another-
was tying up the money. It wasn't Carmelo.
Yeah, because Amari was there before Melo got there.
Yes, it was Amari tying up the money.
See,
It
and
wasn't
another
Carmelo.
thing that everybody forgets, like, yes, it worked in Miami, but why did it work in Miami? Because all them dudes took less money. If Wade would have said, no, I want to get paid like a superstar, they wouldn't have had all three of them. They wouldn't have.
And then we
Oh, yeah,
and then we like to compare it to the Golden State thing, but that was just a salary.
That's a
That's
salary
bloof.
thing.
That was a salary bloof. They got
They
Curry
got
for
super
10 mil.
lucky.
They got Curry for 10 mil on a bad ankle, and he was the MVP of the league 2 years, making $10 million a year.
They got super lucky.
They got lucky and were able to re-sign Clay and Draymond before the cap went up. So they literally got lucky.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
literally
Like,
got
you
lucky.
can't be mad at Melo for getting paid what he was supposed to get paid at the time.
It's like you can't be mad at Mike Conley. You can't be mad at Anthony Davis. Like
You can't be mad at John Wall.
At Dame Lillard. You can't be mad at John Wall. Like that. This is the market price for them. Like it just.
You can't even be mad at some of the mid-level players that's getting paid them. You can't be mad. Listen, is Otto Porter getting overpaid? Yes, but you can't be mad at him.
Not their fault.
Is Bismack Biyombo being overpaid? Yes, but you can't be mad at him.
Look, all I can tell you is Melo said it himself. His priority was winning. I'm going off of what he said. You tell me your priority is winning, and you go and sign that large contract with the Knicks, who, when he signed that contract, they didn't have the personnel to win anyway. That's what I'm going off. He said my priority is winning. When he went and signed that contract with the Knicks, I was like, he gonna get money, but your priority is definitely not winning, brother.
So if you have a coach that is an 11-time NBA champion, he's coached some of the three of arguably the top 5 greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. He even won 2 championships with Kobe and Powell and a bunch of other guys.
He had the personnel for all that, man.
Okay, so they had the personnel, right? That's what you're saying. If that guy, if you sit in a room and you have a conversation with him, he also played for the Knicks. And if I'm wrong, somebody tell me I'm wrong. But no, I'm wrong. So I ain't even gonna say it. But he also played for the Knicks. So he wanted to bring a championship to the Knicks. You sit in the office with him and you have a meeting with him and he looks you in your face and he says, right, you from here, I play here, I understand what it takes to win here. You and I together, if you come back here, you and I together, we can bring the championship to this city, right? And you fly a little ways over to Chicago and you sit down and you get Gar Forman and John Paxson. And they're selling you on how great it would be to bring a championship back to the city of Chicago, who hasn't won since 1998. And Paxson can say, oh, I played for the Bulls in the early 90s when we was winning with Jordan. That's it. He ain't never won nothing outside of that. That's it. What you gonna say? What they gonna say? Like, what can they say?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Because if my priority is winning, and I look at the roster construction for the Bulls and for the Knicks at that time, I'm going to the Bulls.
Okay. But if Phil is telling you certain things he's gonna do, if one person is if he's telling you, hey, look, we can go, if you sign here, we can go get this person, or we can go do this, or we can do this, we could potentially get this coach. Everybody forgets one thing as well. Phil tried to go get Steve Kerr as a coach.
You did.
Steve didn't want to come.
Because he didn't want to run.
He didn't want to run a triangle. So that also was probably a conversation they had, right? You're right, the Bulls already had their team constructed. And he might have said, they could say, yeah, we got this team right here, and we could probably compete with the Heat for the next 4 years, right? But Phil can also sell the same thing. Hey, if we get this coach and we add these players and we run it, I'm telling you it'll work. So it's like Five said, it's all about who you gonna trust. And what you're saying is, I'm gonna trust the players that are already here versus the vision that's being given to me by somebody that has won 11 championships and has played in this market as well. So he understands the scrutiny that comes with it. And he understands how much New York wants to win.
My argument against that, though, is that
You can go talk to Michael Jordan for the Charlotte Hornets and sit there with him as a free agent, and he could tell you this, and he done won 6 NBA championships. That don't mean you gonna sign with him.
Michael Jordan ain't never coached a game of basketball a day in his life.
But I mean, no, if he could sell you on the vision, no, you talking about the vision.
No, Michael Jordan can sell me on he's won championships. That's it. Michael Jordan ain't never made a substitution, ain't never had a conversation about who to draft or put on the floor with who, none of that. Michael Jordan can tell you, I was great, we won championships.
And then you also got to look at Melo as, dude, when you sign that contract, who else can y'all actually go get? Because like you said, they still was paying Omari. So they was tied. He knew they was tied up money wise. That's my thing. Like if he knew that they wouldn't be able to get nobody like that, man. Melo knew they wasn't about to win, man. When he signed that money, he knew they wasn't about to win. That's what I'm saying. I would have liked to see him go somewhere where he would have been able to play more in, like, deeper into the playoffs. He knew they wasn't finna win in New York.
Look at it both ways. Phil Jackson ain't never been in the, was he president of operation? He never had, it's totally different from being a coach. I mean, you can look at it both ways. I mean, like I said, Jordan wasn't.
Cause I mean, what did it feel like? They didn't have no personnel. There wasn't any personnel that he could go get as far as player wise. Like player wise, they did not have personnel at all. Melo took that money. They were strapped for cash. He knew what he was doing. Melo wasn't dumb. I mean, Melo knew, like, I take this money. He knew they weren't gonna win. They were never gonna be contenders.
Still wouldn't blame Melo
I had to
for
go back and look. I had to go back and look at their roster.
That roster, dude, like,
I don't really know.
that was when Lynn Sanity, like, come on, man, like,
It had to be. That was before Linsanity. That was when all the old guys were on the team.
when he took all that money.
They still had him
That's
on.
when they had Kidd and Tyson Chandler.
Oh, they did have him.
Yeah, that's when they had that.
When they had Tyson Chandler, they had that Lynn Sanity was like 2012. That was 2012. And he had got hurt because they played Miami in the first round. And he didn't play. They still had, I believe they still had Tyson. They still had Amari. Amari played that series. Like, he knew. Like, come on, man. Like, he knew. So my thing is, like, Melo going to New York, take your money, bro. But you know you ain't trying to win. Don't tell me that. So that's my thing with Melo. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he wanted to win. He just wanted to force it in New York. You can't turn down 124.
I mean, I don't blame him for not turning it down. But, like, when him signing back, like, you gonna put yourself in that situation, people gonna look at you like, hey, man, like,
I think it's the difference between wanting to win and wanting to win your way. He wanted to win his way, which was in New York. So he wanted to win, but he just wanted to do it. He just wanted to do it his way, and he wasn't gonna win in New York. Period. Because Melo's a one-dimensional player. He needs players around him. You're not gonna win a ring with just Melo on your team.
you know who else ain't gonna win a ring? Devin Booker. Okay?
Not in Phoenix.
Look, I wanna make this loud and clear. What's it? 2 games in a row, he scored 50?
2 games in a row.
Almost scored 50 again against Memphis. He scored 49.
48.
48. Okay. I don't even know where to begin with this.
59, 50, 48.
What's the significance of Devin Booker scoring 50 points?
So we've been on Twitter, and we've been, one of the guys on Twitter has been saying, Devin Booker is basically a superstar trapped in Phoenix, right? He was comparing him, saying like he's a better player than Klay Thompson if given if you swap teams and put him on Golden State, like, you know what I mean? He's just that much of a better player. And he's been like going crazy after these like 50-point games. Dude, these games mean absolutely nothing. It's game 70 of the regular season and you decide to go ham. Where was this game 1? Where was this game 15? Where was this game 25? Like, not to say that you have to score 50, but where is this energy? Like, you know what I mean? And we know, since they don't really have a point guard, we know Devin Booker isn't a selfish. Like, he can pass the ball. Like, he can get his teammates involved.
Yeah, 25 and 13. 13 assists last night.
Like, against the Cavs, right? Dude, where was this at when the year started? Like,
So I did some research on this because I had to. Because I'm sick of watching it, to be honest with you.
You sick of watching?
Yeah, I'm sick of watching it. I watched the Memphis game and I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. I'm like, but whatever. So I did some research. All right, so over those 3 games, right, 59, 50, 48, he's had 34, 29, and 29 field goal attempts. You know how many field goal attempt games he's had over 25 all season before this stretch? 6.
on a bad team, you can't do that.
On a bad team.
You said over 25?
Over 25.
6.
He's had 2 over 28. Two games over 28 field goal attempts. He's taken over 29 just in those 3 straight games.
Wow.
And you want to know who his 2 biggest field goal attempts were versus?
Who?
The 2 teams that he torched last year at the end of the season.
Boston
and Philly. So he's comfortable with scoring a lot of points versus those teams, obviously. Listen, I hate to talk about James Harden in this regard because I hate to even bring him up in this conversation. But when James Harden was by himself with no Chris Paul,
He was
shooting the leather
Hey,
ball.
what?
I have to. So
He has to shoot at least 30 shots.
Kobe talked about it. Kobe said they can't win a title like that, but he's doing what he has to do
To win.
to win
Yeah.
games
Yeah.
right now. Why isn't Devin Booker doing what he has to do to win games? And why, when it doesn't matter,
Is he doing it?
is he doing it and getting praise? Like, he's getting praise for it. That's what's killing me. Like, people are like saying he's the next superstar, all this. And don't get me wrong, I am a Devin Booker fan. I said it when he was at Kentucky. I said, man, he might be the best pro out of all of them when he gets to the league. But it's not transferring to wins. And to be honest with you, none of it is. Like, none of the young guys are really, like, outside of, like, Embiid, Simmons, like, there's really no young guys, like, transforming teams right now into wins. You maybe throw Giannis out there. Giannis is pretty young. But besides that, like, everything is just stat stuffers for me. Like, this is just one big rookie of the year, just race. I mean, or you're a sophomore year, or you're the third player of the year, like, or junior, or whatever. You know, whatever. You can't shoot 29 field goal attempts 3 straight games and haven't done it all year but one time. Like, you just can't do it. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me.
That looks bad.
They was getting
It looks bad.
That looks bad.
killed by Utah.
And they still got killed. He had 59 points and they still lost by 30.
It's like,
That looks bad.
I mean, a lot of players, like when they were younger. How old is Devin Booker? 20.
He's got 23. Maybe.
Like, you look at
Maybe.
guys, you look at a lot of guys like early in their career, like that had like certain moments, like where they scored a lot of points. It was like, man, like I use Mike as an example when he scored 63, right? It was so well respected, even though they lost. Number one, because it was in the playoffs. Number two, it was on the Celtics, a Hall of Fame team.
Somebody tried to compare him to Michael Jordan the other day. I felt disrespected.
Almost cut this mic off.
I felt disrespected. They
I know what you're talking about.
They compared his scoring, his big scoring games to Michael Jordan big scoring games
Saying he
before they
didn't
had
have-
Scotty.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Come on, man.
So, I'm gonna just do this. These are the field goal attempts that James Harden took when he went on that 30 point plus tear.
Yeah.
Started off 26, 14, 31, 18, 23, 34, 35, 26, 25, 19, 32, 35, 18, 30, 24, 32, 33, 34, 30, 26, 38, 25, 27, 32,
I'm
21,
listening to this.
22, 26, 26, 28, 23, 34, and 24.
Doing what he has to do to win ball games.
So he had,
And getting to the line.
I'm not even, I didn't.
You ain't even
Yeah,
look, you ain't
yeah.
look at
I
that.
didn't look at free
You ain't
throws.
gotta look at that.
Yeah, because he probably in double digits, probably almost
You
every
ain't gotta look at that.
Yeah, but I mean, the lowest number of shots he took was 14.
That
He
was
shot
second game?
Second game. He shot 7 threes that game. Shot 13 free throws. He was 11 for 13 from the line. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess whoever said it on Twitter, I guess what they were saying, they can see the potential in Devin Booker. Maybe they misworded the tweet. Maybe they were saying they can see the potential, like if he actually went out there and was attempting.
He said he better than Clay.
Look,
What?
see, I always say this. I never like when people say that, right? About like who's better than Clay, because Clay is really like what, a third option now. Could Clay be a number one option somewhere? Who knows? Like, we probably never will see that, because Clay will probably always be either a third option or a second option. Like, we will never see it. And I always say Clay plays in the system that benefits him where he doesn't. I always say Clay don't have to do nothing but go to a spot and shoot.
Anytime my third option give you 60 points off 4 dribbles.
That's what I'm saying. But Clay doesn't have to do anything but go to a spot and
Imagine
shoot.
you can do.
Clay doesn't have to create for nobody. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Clay cannot create a shot. But that's not what's asked of him to do. So we don't even know Clay's full game. Because we've never been forced to see it.
Never.
So who's to say, like, I always say, I used to say, like, if Clay went somewhere, could he do it? I would say no, right? Because I feel like it's the system. But if he was there and he was the only player and he really had to show us his basketball skill set, his repertoire, could he do it? Absolutely. If he was given the green, Clay is gonna have the green light. He's gonna have the green light, right? So he'll be able to take the 20, 24, 25, 30 shots a game, and everybody will be fine with it because that's what he is. He's a shooter. Does it look better or does it make it easier that he gets to play alongside arguably the best shooter we've ever seen play the game of basketball and arguably one of the best scorers that we ever seen play the game of basketball? That ain't his fault.
Yeah, no.
Clay Thompson get his own shot.
And he made himself this type of shooter too.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that Clay was gonna be like a sharpshooter like this when he got drafted. Like nobody was like,
Nobody knew nothing about him.
he was gonna be one of the best shooters of all time. Like nobody knew that.
And I like I said, I'm just guessing maybe whoever said this is saying if Devin would do this more, he could be better. But to Five's point, like, don't wait till the end of the year to start doing
I
it.
don't want to hear that shit.
Do it early.
And they be playing.
Do it earlier.
Like I don't want to hear that shit.
Like even when he scored, what was that, 71
I was just looking at the game.
against the Celtics?
It was 2 years ago actually. I thought it was last.
Wasn't that at the end towards the end of the
Oh
season?
yeah, that was toward the end of the season.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like February. I was just looking at the stats from that game.
And they was getting killed that game too. That game was a blowout. And I think they still lost by double digits that game.
Lost by 10.
Devin Booker is
It
probably
was actually it was March 24th.
yeah.
He took 40 field goal attempts. He was 20 to 24 from the line, 24 to 26 from the line. He had 70 points.
Yeah, like, dude, like, he cold, but you just can't. You don't get a pass for just doing this the last 10 games of the season.
Played 44 minutes in a blowout.
No.
This game was a blowout.
Yeah.
Like,
And they love doing that with him. They love playing him, and like, you not like.
So he could just get shots up.
I think it's got to be incentive based. Like it's got to be something like he's like close to like these incentives or something, getting a little extra money. Like it's just no way he should be out there gunning.
But Devin,
And he plays more, and he plays a lot of minutes too. Like get your young guys out there. Let your other young guys play minutes. We know Devin Booker can play.
so you said Devin Booker has shot the ball 24 times before this stretch. What, six
Six
times?
Over 25 times, 6 times.
Yeah.
He's had 25 plus field goal attempt games 6 times this season. Before this stretch.
Devin Booker is in Phoenix. He's the type of player that needs to shoot the ball 24 to 25 times.
There's no reason why he shouldn't average 23 field goal attempts a game.
That's what I'm saying.
He should average that. Like he literally should average it.
I mean, he ain't having
And then with him being.
We're not saying he having.
We're not saying he's having.
Oh,
but what
that's
we're
not
saying is, what they're saying is, and I'm agreeing with it is, don't wait to the end of the season when it's 10 games or less left in the season to start shooting the ball more. And it still doesn't equate to wins. Do that earlier. Show this skill earlier. Like and my thing, and this is what I'm saying. If I'm his coach, I'm telling him, if you don't shoot the ball 24 to 25 times a game, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Like, that's the type of mentality you need to have. You need to have, as Five was saying, you kind of need to have that James Harden mentality where you need to do whatever it is necessary for your team to win. And right now in Phoenix, we need you to shoot the ball.
And if any player need to be resting coach's decision, it needs to be him. All the money that
They got tied up.
and he's already injury prone.
He's had freaking
Hammies.
Oh yeah, his hammy ain't no good.
There's no reason why at the end of the year he needs to be playing 40 plus minutes. You down 20, 25 just so he pad his stats.
Maybe it is incentive based.
It probably
It's gotta
is.
be incentive based.
Yeah,
It's
probably
gotta be.
is.
I was thinking about this earlier.
But it's like, dude, like what if he hurts himself now, right? then what? Like you're playing him all these minutes. He's out here gunning.
Look at Aiden. Aiden got hurt the other day.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was non-contact too. They haven't said.
I think it was an ankle.
They said it was ankle, but they haven't said too much about it though. So
So I mean, like, dude, do this. You play hard and go crazy in the beginning of the year. Around this time, if y'all are not good, dude, they should book
be
it.
rested.
It's over with.
Yeah.
Hey, 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Yeah.
That's it. But
Come on,
this ain't the time to be like, hey,
Old management.
and then they won one of the games too.
they
right?
beat Cleveland.
They,
Well,
they
no,
beat
they
Cleveland
beat
and they beat
Cleveland
Washington.
yesterday. Yeah, they did beat
They beat
Washington.
Cleveland and Washington, and
You supposed to be tanking.
You supposed to be tanking, like
You ass backwards out here.
yeah, like what are you
What are
doing?
you, man?
They like the Lakers, man. 10th in the West now.
Jesus.
But you know,
Should take more shots. Kobe.
I'm not honoring that. I'm not honoring that.
nah.
I think
you don't get credit for that.
I think I agree with y'all, but I think his mentality from the beginning of the year, starting next year, should be like I said, shoot the ball 24 to 25 times a game. Like Five said, he needs to be averaging 23 shots a game. He's that type of player. Like period. Until the team becomes better to where you can still average 24 to 25 points a game on less shots, you got to take more shots.
Just like Michael Jordan.
You got to take more
Just
shots.
like Michael Jordan. He's averaging a little under 20 attempts a game right now, and he's averaged that for the last 2 years.
Who?
Devin Booker.
He's averaged 20 shots a game?
19.5 last year, 19.9
No,
this year.
that's unacceptable.
Like this team is awful.
And how much is what's his average and like his points average?
He's averaging.
This year he averaging like 26, I want to say.
Yeah,
It's probably like 26.
unacceptable.
Man, people should jump down Kobe Bryant.
27 a game.
When they want to do the
26.9.
same thing, man.
That unacceptable.
He should be getting 30 a night.
Unacceptable. That's what I'm saying. It's
He should be
unacceptable.
getting 30 a night.
If
like,
you're taking
This team
19
is
shots
that
and you're
bad.
averaging 27 points,
this team is that bad. He should be averaging 30 a night. He should be almost leading the league. in
there
scoring.
you go. There you go.
He should be almost leading the league in scoring.
I bet that's an
It
incentive.
should be. You know what? He should be like T-Mac in Orlando,
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
I'm saying.
leading the league in scoring.
But that's the thing. He shows you he has the capability to do it.
So do it.
But he don't do it.
So do it.
Until March
Do it.
15th.
I guess it's the March Madness. March Madness time, he turn up.
He probably ain't doing it because it ain't gonna translate to no wins. He was just doing it now. He was still dropping 48, 50. He still ain't
They
winning.
won 2 out of the 4 games.
I mean, that wasn't gonna be consistent all season.
And
I
they-
agree. He
and-
should be doing it
and
just
they actually
because.
should have beat Memphis. They were winning the game.
Yeah, they was winning.
They were winning.
I
the
agree. He
game.
should be doing it, but I mean, I don't necessarily that's gonna mean he's gonna win. He's gonna be getting up shots. He's looking good for his stats.
He's going to make it the best worse.
And
Keep this up.
and just an quick NBA update. The Warriors are smashing the Nuggets right now.
Let's go.
Stephen A. said they were gonna win by 30.
55.
What Boogie doing?
They're pretty pissed at the league right now.
What Boogie doing?
They fined every single one of them.
They did find all 3 of them.
Man, you can't do that though.
Yeah, they're going to. They're mad at the league right now.
You can't do that.
They
Man.
can't.
Well, I need to know what Boogie's doing.
Yeah, they can't call the man Tim Donahue. I agree.
And not only that, you can't point and laugh at the ref.
He
during
got
the game.
17, 10, and 3 assists.
He blocks and steals.
He got 2 blocks, 2 steals.
Guess who's got him in that fantasy
You
line?
got him in your fantasy line?
What's hard? No.
You better hope they keep the game close.
He might got enough for me already. Them numbers.
Spurs came back and won that game.
Oh, they needed that.
The Rockets got 130 points, so Harden had to go 8.
Guess who had Harden?
You had Harden?
Are they killing? Are they whooping them though?
Yeah, the game over. They went by 30. Harden had 36, 10, and 3.
Hey, hold on, that ain't enough.
Yeah,
That
that ain't enough for what 12K, the 12K you paid for him. You ain't cash, man. Get my phone back.
This is not good. I'll look later. Y'all got anything y'all want to say while I look at my money? It's dwindling.
No, man, that's just it's the good time of the year. Final Four Saturday.
Final Four Saturday.
I'm ready,
All
man.
right, so who y'all got again?
I'm going Michigan State. I'm going what time is up.
Michigan State versus.
Whoever.
All right.
We won't get a chance to talk about it again.
I got Virginia winning it all.
Texas Tech, Michigan State.
Give me Texas Tech.
Woo!
Hater.
Yeah.
I am going.
Pick that with my heart. Let's go do.
We know you do a lot with your heart.
That's what you're supposed to do, man.
No.
Y'all done pick North Carolina with your edge. Good guy.
We look good until the flu hit.
I'm going
Yeah,
Michigan State and Auburn. I'm gonna pick. I want Auburn to win it all.
Why? You like Bruce Pearl?
No, they beat up. I want to say we lost to the champs.
I hate that. I hate
Like at least we lost to the
that
champs.
mentality is.
I hate that.
I mean, we lost. We can't do nothing else.
we lost to the
Yeah,
champs.
we gonna lose. It don't matter who we lose to.
If I had a choice, I'd rather lose to the people that's about to win it all than to somebody that
I
get.
don't give a shit who I lose
What?
to.
I lost. Oh, I lost to the guy that won. I lost.
No, I'm talking about me as a fan,
I lost.
not as a player. As a
You
player, you
lost.
don't care.
They lost.
As a fan, I care.
As a
They
fan,
lost.
you shouldn't care either.
I care. So I hope they win it all.
That's
Plus,
like- that's like me saying-
I like seeing Barkley talk on TV now. When the further they get, like he gets
Can you-
further separated from like really analyzing the actual
Can you
game.
imagine if Auburn wins it all?
That's why I really want them to win it
in the
all.
studio with Kenny.
Yes, that's.
He gonna go crazy.
Do you see?
Hey,
what
look, he might pour some champagne on himself.
they got his desk
Kenny,
decorated.
this really does burn.
I want to see Auburn win really for Chuck. No lie.
I don't like Bruce Pearl.
My heart,
I'm not a Bruce Pearl fan.
I care less about.
Yeah, I'm not a Bruce Pearl fan.
My heart is telling me Michigan State is going to win it all.
Huh?
You know, if you enough.
No, I'm just not a fan of that.
You
I'm
thought
just
you
not
were bad.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. Like he just doesn't. He look kind of like a sleaze bag to me, to be honest with you.
Sleaze back.
Sleaze bag. A sleaze bag.
Harsh words.
Oh my God.
He quit his, when he got fired, he went to be like a vice president of like a company, and then he got back into coaching.
What are you supposed to do? Not work.
Go back into coaching.
Follow us on Twitter, Goodfellas87. That is spelled with a 3 instead of an E. Like us on Facebook, Goodfellas Podcast, YouTube, subscribe, Goodfellas Podcast, and on IG. Am I missing anything?
Oh man, just man, R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle, man.
Man.
Keep his family in y'all prayers, man. That's an unfortunate tragedy, and the black community we gotta do better.
Yeah, they said the Rolling 60s got
Come on.
It actually look like he about to do a quality update.
Oh, yeah, they.
Oh.
Rolling 60s, the Crips out in LA. They got some Eric Holders.
No, come on. Yep. We ain't gonna go there. We
don't want to.
we not gonna do that.
We don't want to talk about violence on the show.
Come on, man.
And with that being said, y'all got anything else y'all want to say?
We need a new cameraman because he
was trying to
tripping.
be serious that time. I got shut down.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about violence.
Nah.
I got anything else I want to say?
What do you got? You got a shout out?
Shout out my bracket. You mad, bro? You mad?
You know, he's the only loser that still shouts out like something.
A Carolina guy won it last year. It looks like a Carolina guy's gonna win it this year.
I feel like I wanted the year Duke won.
I feel like we don't know.
Right.
You probably did.
I did.
You probably did. How long ago was that?
15.
Ooh, that's almost. Oh my God, we almost in 2020.
I didn't even know y'all.
So yeah, that's the only shout out I got, man. And yeah, that's it, man. So until next time, we are still looking for taking producer applications. I ain't gonna do Booth like that, man. Booth, you got something to say?
Man, just want y'all to be who y'all are. And love yourselves.
If you're not his friend on Facebook, add him or follow him. Daniel Slimnati Booth. He'll give you minute-to-minute updates on life lessons and relationships or lack thereof.
Situationship.
Yeah, but don't add me if you're gonna try to stop my greatness. I ain't got time for that energy.
And with that being said, love, live life. We will holler at y'all next week.